she solicited and received bribes amounting to 4.5 million rand from a contractor. Tabiso Goba reports.
The state has already disclosed sections A and B of the police dockets against Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. However, it says it's not willing to hand over section C of the dockets, which is the police book investigation diary. It contains dates of when the police began investigating Mapisa-Nqakula, when they met witnesses, and other minor details. The state says the information is privileged and won't be used against Mapisa-Nqakula during trial. However, Mapisa-Nqakula's lawyers say the state is potentially hiding information that could exonerate their client. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
NPA boss Shamila Batoyi has ordered the reports on the acquittal of Nigerian televangelist Timothy Omotosho following criticism of the prosecution's handling of the case. Omotosho and his co-accused Lusanda Solani and Zikiswa Sito were cleared of rape, human trafficking and sexual assault charges following a trial that stretched over 8 years. But the High Court in Gqeberha found prosecutors failed to present a strong case and didn't properly cross-examine witnesses. Batoyi has requested a detailed account from Eastern Cape Director of Public Prosecutions, Perry Madolo, along with a transcript of the trial as she studies the judgment to decide on the next steps. Mongezi Koko reports.
Justice Minister Mamoloko Kubai has also stepped in, giving the NPA until Monday to explain whether procedural failures led to Omotosho walking free. She's invoked Section 33 of the National Prosecuting Authority Act, demanding a full report from Batoyi on why prosecutors couldn't secure a conviction in a case that gripped the nation.
I've given the NDPP until Monday the 7th to give me a report in terms of this matter, and will take the matter forward.
The judge in the case, Irma Skuman, raised serious concerns about the manner in which the case was prosecuted, a blow to the NPA, which has faced growing scrutiny of its handling of high-profile sexual offence cases. The NPA says it will review the judgment to determine whether there are grounds for an appeal. But for now, the clock is ticking and pressure is mounting. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News.
The families of 3 children who have been raped in the Eastern Cape say police have failed them. Some of the children are believed to have been harmed at the same school in Matatiele last year. One of the families has told EWN about the hurt suffered by a 7-year-old girl allegedly on school grounds. Zolega Kodashe reports.
The little girl's family in Kobizembe says they opened a case of rape after finding out about the attack last year, but they allegedly never received updates from police.
The police have failed us because the case was opened. The child is hurt. We were not informed that a suspect had been arrested. There was silence. At some point, when we were probing, we were told that the suspect had been released. First, we weren't told that he was arrested. We didn't even know that he was also released. Who has the proof that he was ever arrested?
Police Minister Senzo Mchunu is expected to brief the media on the progress of another case involving the rape of a 7-year-old girl, also in the area. The minister's briefing will, however, take place almost 800 kilometers away from where the victims are. Zolega Kodashe, Eyewitness News, Matatiele, Eastern Cape.
And South Korea's ousted President Yoon Suk-yeol has apologized after the country's constitutional courts upheld his impeachment. Yoon's short-lived declaration of martial law last December plunged the country into political turmoil. His powers were first suspended when Parliament voted to impeach him on the 14th of December. Now that Yoon is impeached, a snap election must be held within 60 days. Yoon also faces a separate charge of insurrection, which will go on trial at a later date. In his apology, he says that he's truly sorry and heartbroken that he was unable to meet the expectations of citizens. Gold is trading at $3,103.13 an ounce. The rand is at 18.90 to the dollar, 24.69 to the pound, 20.91 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $69.57 a barrel.
No major new reported incidents, just not a bit.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with isolated showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 18 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The Pretoria High Court is set to deliver a ruling on an application by former Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula to access the investigation or to the investigation diary of her corruption case today.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Six minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. It's wonderful to have you with us here on 702. I hope you're well this morning. Remember, you can watch us live on YouTube. Hello, if you're watching us on YouTube. I'm waving to our cameras here in studio. You can watch us live as we do the show. You no longer have to wait for even the guests we have in studio, to go and check out the YouTube. Once we post it, you can just watch the show live as it happens. So head over to the 702 YouTube page. That's where you can catch the Clement Manyathela Show live. What a hectic news week, eh? Let's start with the 702 open line this hour. And because it's Friday, remember we do Gratitude Friday every Friday on the 702 open line. You can give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note and tell us what you are grateful for this week. What happened this week that put a smile on your face, that reminded you how blessed you are? Please share that with us so we can celebrate with you. And we've been doing this for a while now because we want to inculcate this spirit of gratitude, this culture of gratitude. Because I think sometimes we forget just how blessed we are. The fact that you were able to have a meal this morning, the fact that you still have a job, as unhappy as you may be, the fact that you've got wonderful kids, you've got a wonderful partner, you've got a family, the fact that you've got clothes on this morning. We forget the most basic things. The fact that you passed your exam, that maybe your mom, your father, your loved one is out of hospital. Those are the things we need to be grateful for. And I think when we inculcate that culture of gratitude, when we make it normal for us to just be grateful, that just adds a bit of light on our lives. So what are you grateful for this week? Give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note. Are you doing the Two Oceans Marathon this weekend in Cape Town? If you are, how ready are you? How's the training been for you? And all the best. I am not doing it this weekend because I've got another marathon happening next weekend. But if you're doing the Two Oceans Marathon, all the best to all of you that will be participating. Remember our conversation yesterday about the Omotoso case that ended in acquittal? Many of us were shocked when Judge Emma Schoeman delivered her judgment the other day on the matter after 8 years of testimonies and delays, which led to the acquittal of Timothy Omotoso and his two co-accused. Not because they are not guilty, but because state prosecutors bungled the case. They were seemingly incompetent. Omotoso faced charges of rape, of trafficking, of racketeering, among others. And now the Minister of Justice, Mameloko Kubai, wants answers. She wants the NPA to come and explain why they failed to secure a conviction here. Because Judge Emma Schoeman criticized the prosecution team and the NPA's mismanagement of the case. She described the case as shallow. She said the matter is actually ending in acquittal, not because she believes that the accused is not guilty, but because the state mismanaged the case. What if the prosecutors didn't even know the definition of rape and that it included digital penetration? So last night on Face the Nation, I had an exclusive interview with Advocate Barry Madolo. This is the Director of Public Prosecutions in the Eastern Cape. He is the boss of these prosecutors who seemingly failed in this case. And I was shocked when he said to me last night that he believes these prosecutors did a good job. Take a listen.
Advocate Madolo, do you think that the prosecutors did a great job? Well, as far as I know, because I kept a tab on this matter, I had my fingers on the pulse of this case. I think the prosecutors did a good job here. Remember, this case has a long history. There was a team of prosecutors which we had to remove. Then we brought in this new team of prosecutors, and it's a trusted team, So I was also a bit taken aback when I saw the judgment and what I said.
But Advocate Madola, if you so believe that the prosecutors did a good job here, how did the case then end in acquittal? Because the judge, in fact, said the prosecutor didn't even know that digital penetration of genitalia constituted rape. So how do you explain that? How can a prosecutor in a rape case with 14 years of experience not know the definition of rape and that it included digital penetration?
I think, Clement, one needs to, look at the judgment as a whole and the transcript as a whole, because these prosecutors that were there, these are seasoned prosecutors, all right? And again, I just want to add something. I'm not defending them because I still have to read the whole transcript, But my view and our position is this. We're waiting for a copy of the judgment, which we're supposed to get today, and then we're going to take the matter from there, As far as we are concerned, or I am concerned, this is not the end of the matter.
So that's what the advocate Madolo said. He's essentially the boss of these prosecutors, and he says he believes they did a good job. Let me know what you think of that. Between 10 and 11 o'clock, we're going to do the Across the Desk feature. And today I'm hosting, they call them PKs, pastor's kids. Are you a pastor's kid? We hold pastors in, we really hold the highest, they hold the highest status, obviously, in the society. And I think we hold them in high regard. We put them on a pedestal. We've got great expectations of them. And those expectations extend to their children. And I think sometimes that can be unfair. There are often a lot of stereotypes about a pastor. And I ended up being addicted to substance abuse. I was taking drugs and alcohol. And I was addicted because I just felt the family was trying to force an identity that wasn't mine. And as a result, my life has gone the other way. Because I didn't relate. I didn't want to be a pastor. And that they wanted me to take over my dad's church. And I think there lies an opportunity for us to have a conversation about these expectations and how we can manage them. So today I'm going to be hosting 3 pastors' kids, they're not kids anymore, but pastors' children, who will give us a better understanding of the varied experiences that they have. And if you're a pastor's child, or maybe your dad holds a particular position in whatever religion, I want you to share your experiences with us and how you've managed that. That's between 10 and 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we are going to do our relationship feature. And today, I want us to discuss how to manage relations with our exes. There are various reasons why a person wants to maintain a relationship with their ex, right? Some of you wish your exes happy birthdays. Some of you, when you are going through the most difficult of periods, you go speak to your ex, with your exes about it, because you feel maybe the person you're with right now, if you are with someone, won't understand. Or maybe you are single, but it may very well be that your ex is with somebody else. So how do you manage that relationship so that you're not compromising their relationship, but also your contact with them doesn't compromise your relationship? And if you have a healthy relationship with your ex, I want you to share those experiences with us at 11 o'clock. Because the thing is, and I was saying to Bongani this morning, if something happens, maybe you've shared a life with someone for 5 years, you guys break up. If they lose their mom or their dad, what do? You not go to the funeral? And I don't know. I just find that is a bit weird. Like, it's a bit harsh. But also, you don't know what context there is to people not being together anymore, and whether that even allows for them to have or maintain a relationship afterwards. So I'm interested to hear different thoughts schools of thought on this one when we have this discussion on our relationship feature at 11 o'clock. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Hi Clement, how are you? This is Ruzani Dube Chishibe from Korgastrop. You know what, Clement? There is something that I'm very grateful to have a good relationship with my sister and my younger brother, as we're the only three of us. So I'm very grateful. The relationship that we have, the love that we have in my family, it's so amazing. We love each other, we help each other. So it's something that I'm happy about, and I thank God for that, Clement. Thank you.
Hi, Clementino, Israeli Krugazop. Are you well, my brother? Clement, listen, I'm just grateful, just grateful for life in general. The very fact that I managed to wake up this morning, come to work, and I'm at work as we speak now, and I'm loving it. Yeah, that's what I'm grateful for, Clemmy. I'm grateful for life in general. I'm healthy, everything is just going well. I don't really have much that I can write home about, but just life in general myself, I'm just happy in general. Yeah, very grateful for life, Clementino. I hope you are too. Have a great day, brother. Cheers, man. Bye.
Good day, Clement. I'm grateful for my daughter. She got a call yesterday that she got a job offer. And on Monday, she's going for her second graduation, a postgrad. I'm so proud of her. At age 23, she really made me proud. We struggled through it. There was no NSFAS. I paid the first degree with my money. She went for a postgrad. I paid it all. And boom, yesterday she's been applying. She's been getting interviews. And she was getting depressed a little bit. And I always tell her that hang in there, it will come. And boom, yesterday she got a good offer for a graduate program. I am so proud of her. So we've got double celebrations. On Monday is a graduation, and then Tuesday is starting her new job. That's so beautiful. I thank God.
That's amazing.
And my family, especially my brother, for the support.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. I really do. Yvonne, you calling from Parkmore. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
Good. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful first that I'm over 60 and I have a great health, great life, happy, thankful for my children, grateful for my children and my son-in-law and daughter. But most of all, I think when we get to this stage in our life, I'm so grateful for my grandchildren. They bring so much joy, so much love. They actually inspire you to do things that you haven't done and want to live a better life. They, as young as they are, they humble you and they stretch you, to things that you think you wouldn't do, you want to do now. And that's, being kind, loving, care for other people. It's just amazing. And I'm just so grateful God gives us the strength and the grace to those things.
Oh, that's amazing, Yvonne. I always see how my mom gets so happy when my niece comes to visit. And my niece came last night. My brother brought her, and my mom was like so happy. So I think grandchildren are the best gifts ever to their grandparents. You guys love them to bits. Thank you for that, Yvonne, in Parkmore. It's 20 minutes now after 9 o'clock.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
Tolo on the WhatsApp line says, Clement, looking good there in your clean, beautiful studio on YouTube. Fun fact. And then he says, it's good to see the mannerisms behind the voice. And that's the thing about people watching you on YouTube. Hey, now I can't roll my eyes when Kusta says something, or Koketso, or anyone else. Now I can't roll my eyes because you guys can see it. But yeah, we're on YouTube. Go to 702 YouTube page to check that out. Tabo says, Clement, I'm watching already. I even saw your wave. It's amazing and very interesting thing, listening and watching the show live. Technology. Hey, that's technology. And then some people then comment which is the thing about YouTube as well. People end up commenting about what you're wearing. Just to warn you guys, we work on the radio. This is not television. So sometimes I just come, not in my pajamas, but something that looks like that. Sometimes I do come sometimes not dressed obviously decently to be in a workspace. But it's just probably a vest sometimes, or I'm in my running clothes because I was running that morning, or I have to go to the gym afterwards. So, yeah, just a heads up. Don't be surprised. Now, I want to ask you about pronunciation of words. And I'm asking you about this because there are often times when we pronounce words in a particular way and we think we're right until the moment we find out the right pronunciation. And I want to know what those words are for you. Some people say, and I'm saying this because I want us to also have a bit of fun with this. A mate of mine sent me a message the other day because I said on air, I said, albeit. And he said to me, hey, it's albeit. It's like albeit, like albeit. And I was like, what? I didn't know that. I've always proudly and confidently said albeit. Did you know that? Now, I listened to President Cyril Ramaphosa, and the president's English is like amazing, eh? I'm always impressed, just not only at how multilingual the president is, but I love how he speaks this language. Listen to what he said just the other day, and I was so confused because I thought, is that how you actually pronounce locals, or was he referring to locales? And what are locales? Listen to this.
I say so advisedly because when we go to other locales around the world to hold...
Other what? Locales around the world. What does that mean? Because I checked the definition of locales, and in the context that the president was speaking, I was like, I'm not sure. Is it like cities? Is it like areas? Or was the president saying locals? Because I thought, there's no way that he was saying when we go to other locals, because it says locales. Does anybody know how to properly say, like define what the president says there about locales? What are they? But that's one of the things I heard, and I thought there was a debate. The producers, is he saying locals but pronouncing it differently or what? I know there are some people who don't like it when I say, send us a WhatsApp voice note on, because it's WhatsApp, because it's an app. But for some reason, I've always said WhatsApp, as in, hey, what's up, buddy? So I always say, send us a WhatsApp voice note on this number. So there are many other things, etc. versus etc. GIF versus GIF, depending on whether you are American or British. Liaison versus what? Liaison. So some people say liaison. So which one is right? Liaison. Okay, so liaison is the right one. Okay, there's liaison and then some people say liaison. Some people say vice versa instead of vice versa. I got shocked this morning when Zintle said some people say Wi-Fi instead of Wi-Fi. I'm still not convinced. I am not convinced. And if somebody is listening to us now who has ever heard anybody refer to Wi-Fi as Wi-Fi, that's like criminal. Like open a case against that person. What is that? I've never heard that. Is it really a thing that some people say Wi-Fi instead of Wi-Fi? And then, okay, I've already told you about WhatsApp versus WhatsApp. Some people say assault instead of assault. What is it for you? Nicholas, are you calling from Sandton? Good morning.
Good morning. Well, there's one that I think you should open a case, and that is particularly for the politicians when they put a word that I still don't know. It's called country instead of country. They love this, my country, and I don't understand. And then Then on the other side, on the other racial groups, then they have another famous word, a province which I believe you hail from, Mpumalanga. Where's that? Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga in the country. Those are the ones you should open cases for.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Mpumalanga, Nicholas, I will come with the police to arrest that person, because what is that? Nicholas in Senton, thank you so much for that. Country versus country. And politicians have this thing where they want to emphasize, certain words. Country, in this country. Yeah, and then I don't even want to get onto the phrases that they often use, because that's something else. When you're speaking to them and they say, well, you would have known that. Like, they always speak in a particular way, instead of them just answering a question of, well, this is what you do. Like, well, you would have known that. It's like, no, I actually wouldn't have known. Maybe just answer the question. Here's another one. Ori. Some people pronounce it as Ore. So when things go Ori, or are they going Ore? What is it for you? What are those words that maybe it's you've always thought this is what it actually is, how it's pronounced, but actually you're wrong. Or you've heard people say them and you just think that is criminal. For me, one that takes the cup is Wi-Fi instead of Wi-Fi. I'm taking you to jail for that.
Clemmy. Flores here again from the Western Cape, man. Good day. Clemmy, I think you were once criticized for pronouncing the word fuel as fool.
Fool.
I can still remember that day vividly. Fool instead of fuel. Have a good show. Bye-bye.
My friend the other day, I said, take out that thing in the oven. It's like, oven? What is that? I was like, the oven. Apparently it's, what is it? Is it oven instead of oven? Like the oven. Oven? Oh, oven? But there's no A there. But there's no A in... How do you spell oven, guys? I ain't gay. Oven. Let's spell it. Let's check it. See, it's O-V-E-N. How did we get to oven? So I said to a friend, take out that thing in the oven, and he was surprised. Like, what are you talking about? There's no way. I've never heard of anything like that. Another one is, here's someone else says, is it schedule or schedule? What do you do? Like, let me look at my schedule, or let me look at my schedule. I say schedule. Some people say schedule. Hey?
Morning, Clement. Yes, the president was saying locales, and it's a place where something happens. And I'm one of those people who say, or who get annoyed with people that say, what's up? That's asking a question. It's WhatsApp. This is TD.
Oh, Tidi, then you're annoyed with me every single day then, because I always say, send us a WhatsApp on, guys, locale. I've never heard of that word, eh? So that's a place where things happen. Okay. What a fancy word. I'm going to start using it now going forward. Masinya, you are calling us from where? Good morning.
From Tembisa. How are you, Madimage?
Okay, grand. Go ahead.
Good show, man. I mean, for me, what fascinates me is Limpopo versus Limpopo. I'm sometimes asking myself, what's Limpopo coming from?
Limpopo, yeah, where's that?
Because it's very straightforward. And I'm like, but for me, I was worse, Madimage. I see mediocrity.
Yeah.
For some weird reason, I was calling mediocrity.
Oh, mediocrity, yeah. I would have made that mistake.
I was so embarrassed when I was corrected.
Yeah, but was it in a safe space, or were you corrected in a work environment in front of your bosses? Was it with friends?
No, it was in a safe space with friends. And
okay, at least. At least. Thank you, Masinya in Tembisa. It's exactly 9:30. TJ, Stanley, Abiot, I'll start with your calls after the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. You can give us a call or send us a, wait for it, WhatsApp on 072702
1702. Sfisa Zulu, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Government has committed to assisting the families of 3 rape victims in Matatiele in the Eastern Cape. The children aged between 6 and 7 were raped in the area around October last year. All of the incidents are alleged to have happened at their schools, with 2 of the children allegedly having suffered the ordeal at the same facility, which remains open. A decision on whether former Chief Justice Mogoeng will face an impeachment inquiry is set to be announced today. The Judicial Service Commission must take the decision following a complaint by impeached Judge President John Hlophe. Hlophe laid the complaint claiming Mogoeng had a secret meeting with his then Deputy Judge Patricia Goliath, influencing her to lay a complaint against him. And protesters have displaced a banner calling Myanmar's junta chief a murderer as he joined a regional summit in Bangkok today, just a week after a huge earthquake killed thousands, leaving desperate survivors pleading for food and shelter. More than 3,000 people are confirmed dead after the 7.7 magnitude quake, and the United Nations estimates that up to 3 million may have been affected in some way. Many have left without shelter after their homes were destroyed. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you. Mvangeli, one of the roads, the names of roads I've been getting wrong. I remember one day I was doing a live crossing. I was a journalist with Eyewitness News, and I say, live from Butle, Batlu. So that was quite embarrassing. So how are the roads looking?
Well, should we go to the Bukle interchange? Believe it or not, Clement, we actually have a stationary vehicle on the N1 North before the Beklu interchange.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it causing any delays there on Bukle?
Well, look, it's affecting the middle lane of all lanes, so you need to keep a safe following distance. Safe following distance helps speed up your reaction time. There is no possibility of a collision once you do that, or even hitting a pothole, as long as you keep to the speed limit and keep a safe following distance. There's then an incident, a collision. It's on the side of the road, really. N1 North at Beyers-Naudé Drive on the emergency lane. So this is on the ramp lane. It's going to be onlookers more than anything, slowing traffic down. So I must implore you to remain focused on your route. Staying in the city of Joburg, stop and go traffic in Sandton, Grayston Drive, Catherine Street. There's then the closure of Pretoria Avenue, which is adding to that pressure on Catherine Street. And look out for some potholes. Sunning Hill, Witkoppen Road littered along that route in both directions between the N1 carriageway and Megawatt Park. So that's heading towards Maxwell Drive, and also stop and go traffic in the city of Ekurhuleni, Rangeview Road in Benoni, northbound to Lancaster Road from Dube Street. If there's anything else, please SMS or WhatsApp.
You're going to hell for that.
Mvangeli Nzuza, EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Majestic handling. A V8
Cars.coza.
horsepower that is...
Cars.coza.
This is very annoying. I'm trying to read a car radio advertisement.
Whatever car you want to buy or sell, cut through the and just go to cars.coza and let's find what moves you. Cars.coza.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
I'm sure you were paying attention to developments in Parliament yesterday. What did you make of them?
It could have been done far better, far more elegantly. Mixed feelings. It's good we have a budget. That's critical to make sure that government can continue to function. But look, it's passed. There are good parts in the budget on the expenditure side. Public service wage agreements that will help public servants who are struggling like everybody else. Filling of critical vacancies like 2,000 doctors, 4,000 police officers.
Matthew Parks, Parliamentary Coordinator for COSATU.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
The Oppenheimer's South African Future Trust, in partnership with Startup Club ZA, presents The Big Pitch, the country's first startup pitch series with $1 million in funding up for grabs. If you're an innovative entrepreneur solving a significant problem through innovative technology, then this opportunity is for you. Applications close on the 8th of April for the Joburg qualifier event, with a Cape Town qualifier event planned for August. Enter now at startupclubza.co.za.
za.co.za. Plus, limited 50% discounted tickets are available at 900 Rand for the South African Future Trust Summit, happening on the 28th and 29th of October at the Sandton Convention Center. Book now at summit.southafricanfuturetrust.org. T's and C's apply.
Dear Journal, day 4,548 of trying to be an adult. I used to believe that I have 206 bones in my body. Now, I can hear that I have 206 bones in my body.
Aggressively realizing your age? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's simple and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Make soccer season legendary with Hollywood Bets. Aziz Shagay, Let's Play takes your disky passion to the next dimension. Light up the games with your best bet slip and stand a chance to win your share of 2 million Rand in prizes, including a brand new Toyota Fortuner. Bet a minimum of 10 Rand on any soccer fixture to qualify. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bets supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Right, it's 23 minutes now before 10 o'clock. This is the 702 open line. We are taking your calls on 011-883-0702. Stanley, TJ, Mike, Tato, Nicholas. I'll come to you in a moment. You can also send us your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. I've been asking you what you are grateful for this week. I'm also taking your calls and WhatsApps on these words that you have been pronouncing wrong and you didn't know and you only realized recently, or you've heard other people pronounce them wrong and you think there must be a difference between determine or determine, or I just said entrepreneur now. Some people say entrepreneur. I was having a chicken mayo this morning, or is it chicken mayo? Hey, let's start with your voice notes on Gratitude Friday.
Good morning, Clement and team. I'm just very, very grateful for being alive, healthy, no pains, no aches, no nothing. Family's great. Everything is amazing. I hope and pray your whole team is amazing, and you, Clement. Brenda, enjoy your day.
Morning 702. I had my annual performance review at work yesterday, and it went really well, so I am really, really grateful for that. Me and my boss had a falling out last year, and I really thought she was going to come in with a negative attitude into that meeting. But yeah, it went really well. She was really positive and encouraging, and I've regained my love for my job back, and I'm really grateful for that. Great show as always, man. Appreciate you guys. Cheers.
Morning, Clement and team. This is Rotoholo. Yes, I'll be doing Two Oceans 56. Yeah, and not ready, not 100%, but prepared. Yeah, I will wing it. But yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow's day. And yeah, hoping to have a lot of fun and yeah, I think the Two Oceans route and yeah, everything there. So yeah.
Amazing. All the best. All the best to all of you that are participating this weekend in Cape Town at the Two Oceans Marathon.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
All right, let's go to your calls now on 011-883-0702. It's so fascinating because I can also see the comments of all of you that are watching here on YouTube. Marlon Pillay on YouTube on the comments says, the studio fits the vibes. Nice one, guys. Nyeli says, lovely seeing Mvangeli doing his thing there. And then another one says, Nta says, it's so finally good to see you guys. And then Nontlantla says, good morning, Clement, to you and your guest there in studio listening from Everton West. And then, so many comments that are coming through even on YouTube. Maybe going forward, I'll start reading comments that you guys send out on the 702 YouTube page. Let's go to Stanley now, who is calling us from Krugersdorp. Stanley, good morning.
Yo, what a long wait, Clement, anyway.
Thanks for your patience, Stanley.
Floyd Chibambo. When you pronounce occupy, it's like occupy. I think most of the guys from the north, like Julius, would say occupy. And then for education, Clement, it's written as education.
Yeah.
But how do you pronounce it? As education.
Oh.
Yeah. Like in the oven issue thing. You said it's
oven instead of
with
oven.
An oven.
Okay.
Oven. Yeah.
Oh, so education. Hey, man.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that,
Okay.
Stanley. Education, but education. Hey, man. Okay, TJ, you calling from Soshanguve. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. Good morning.
Hey, Tada.
There's three out of the many. One of them you mentioned it, determine versus determine, management and management.
Yeah.
And the last one, development. They pronounce it as development, and I've become so fascinated. And I'm giggling right now as you have said that. Thank you, Clement.
So determine, what is the right one then? Is it determine or determine? TJ's gone? Okay, TJ's gone. Okay, how do you say it, guys? Is it determine? Is it determine? What's the best way then to say it? Mike, you are in Sentin. Good morning. Oh, that line just jammed there. Let's try Nicholas in box. Okay, something is wrong there with the calls. We're going to try and sort that out. Let's go to WhatsApps now on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Clement. Locale is short for location. And oven, you don't say that. It's the same as saying dove. D-O-V-E. It's not a dove, it's a dove. So we used to teach the children, Oscar Orange says ah, but Oscar's little brother says for the word O, when we teach them the difference between words like oven and dove instead of O as in stove.
Good morning, Clement. Great show as usual. For me, it's advertisement versus advertisement. Some people argue it's whether you speaking British English or American English. But I mean, I think we need to get to one conclusion. Which is it, advertisement or advertisement? Yeah. Rocky from the Val.
Yeah, Rocky. Yeah. Advertisement. Advertisement. Yeah. I think more advertisement, I would say.
Morning, Clement. I understand there's no master of pronunciation, but hey, all these politicians have adopted Tabombeki's saying of matter to matter. It's a matter of circumstances. It's a matter of circumstances. Thank you, Kaiser from Victoria.
Yeah, the politicians have this way of just wanting to emphasize certain things. Like, even with that, this matter, instead of, this matter is like this. But you've just said now, the pronunciation, there's no master of is it pronunciation because you pronounce, or is it pronunciation because you are enunciating? I don't know. Pronunciation, or is it pronunciation?
Good morning, Clement. I'm still struggling with these two words. Is it blagori or blagori? And this one, bodo or bodex. Thank you.
Bodo or bodex. That blagori one. I'll get Mvangeli to tell us what is the right one.
Morning. This is Opa Chef from Shadiba from First Loris. And I just want to say, my English teacher used to say there's no monster of pronunciation. So yeah, there's no monster of.
Okay. What's that? Okay, is that a joke or? I think it is. You said there's no master of.
There's no master of
Yeah.
pronunciation.
Okay, yeah, there's no master of pronunciation. Yeah, but is it also master? I mean, master of pronunciation or master of pronunciation? Who knows? Hey, 14 minutes now before 10 o'clock.
At 7:02,
We're proud of a lot of things
but none more than our connection to you.
because we know when we walk the talk,
We're never alone.
I had been waiting so long for UIF for 18 months, and Kabazela and John Perlman had somebody from UIF on. And you know what? I finally got paid, and I just want to say it's actually saved my life. So 702, thank you, and you reach far and wide to all people.
Every SMS,
voice note,
email,
phone call,
your every word leads to action.
that changes lives, changes minds, uplifts communities, and holds authority to account.
Together, we've turned dialogue into good deeds.
And promises into progress.
Yes, we did that. You and 702. So, stay tuned.
Because if this is how far we've come, imagine how much further we can go.
When we stick together, 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So we did a thing, a full commitment kind of thing. We've partnered with Sixt to bring worldwide to your doorstep. So you see how that's a serious thing, because that's what you deserve. We know you're the GOAT, so premium it is. Premium service, premium vehicles, premium you, premium us. Sani Sixt is all about adding extra to ordinary. Extra reach, extra countries, so you can be extra premium worldwide. Be the greatest of all time and rent Sani Sixt.
Mzansi, you don't want to miss out on Powerball, which is estimated at a massive 100 million rand jackpot this Friday. Don't delay. Play Powerball for an estimated 100 million rand jackpot today, and you could be celebrating millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Unlike other assets built on belief, gold is built on reality. Rare, enduring, and demanded globally, gold is a trusted asset for all. With gold rising 30% in the past year, it again proves to be the ultimate store of value. Buy gold with the market leaders at the Scoin Shop, online or in stores nationwide. T's and C's apply.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
11 minutes now before 10 o'clock. Let's go back to your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702.
Hey, morning, Clems. There's one word that I never knew. Ne? I used to work with a colleague, and then he said to me he bought a house or whatever in a place called Pechekas. You know, like in my mind, he's a petty guy. So I'm like, there's a place called Pechekas. I'm moving along with my life. On to hear later on in life, man, the place is called Birch Acres. So for the longest time, I've been calling that place Pechekas because of him. Only found that it was wrong. So yeah, guys, can we learn how to pronounce words and stuff
I
and
don't believe
not pedify
that.
them?
I don't
Cook some
believe
talent.
that. Cooks.
Hi, Clemens. It's Nhlanhla. You know, the one that drives me up the wall is when people say Northern Cape instead of Northern Cape. I mean, come on. Have you ever heard anyone say Western Cape? So why do we insist on calling the Northern Cape the Northern Cape? And I mean, you hear politicians, hey, Northern Cape. Thanks, Clemens.
Clement, also municipality and municipality. All of these politicians marry municipality. Please, is it municipality or municipality? And also funeral and funeral. A lot of us, my skinned people, we say funeral, and it's actually funeral. Thanks.
Morning, Clement. One that I always find funny as well is when we pronounce the word woman, which is one woman, and then if it's more than one woman, and then it should be women, And I always hear a lot of people referring to a group of women as a group of women.
Good morning, Clement. What irritates me the most is when people pronounce characteristics. They say characteristics, and I've heard several politicians saying characteristics.
No, but some of you are surely, I mean, characteristics. I've never heard even a politician say that. No? I don't know. It's like someone mentioned here something instead of something. There are some people who say something. There is something wrong here. Instead of there's something wrong here. And I don't know if, because I mean, it's something. So where's the N? Or maybe is it with people? It's not the people who normally have a lisp. But maybe there are other people who have a way of talking that they can't say something. But they always say something. And you wonder, that's interesting.
Hi, Clement. That word is also awry, not ori or array, it's or awry. The other word also is epitome. People say epitome, and that is so wrong. Anyway, thank you. Bye.
Oh, okay. Got it. So, RI, because I said Ori earlier, because it was what? There were two options that I had said earlier. It was Ori, and how some people say Ore, but you're saying it's RI. Ori. Okay, so Ori is the right one. So now, there are some people, yes, who say epitome or epitome. Okay, so epitome. You're an epitome of. Okay, we're learning, guys. We're learning.
Clement, Khotso here from Soweto. The other word that most people that are from Limpopo province would say it's safety instead of safety. Safety. Let's say, for example, somebody wants to say place of safety. That person would say place of safety. It's safety and it's safety.
Limpopo people. I've never heard anyone from Limpopo. Unless, I mean, you're talking about maybe the neighboring place to Limpopo, but I don't know. Like, I mean, most of my, some of the Zimbabwean people I know, Zimbabwean nationals would say that, like, in terms of pronunciation, instead of safety. But Limpopo? No, leave my brothers and sisters alone on that one.
Hi, Clement. Yes, sometimes we say data instead of saying, some people say data. Global. Yes, data.
I just, guys, at some point we must just know that as long as you got what I was saying, because the next time, in 10 years' time, people are going to come and say it's data. Yeah? It's data. People are going to come and do that now next time. Instead of data or data, they'll come up with a completely different word. So at the end of the day, also, as long as we understand each other. But I do think it's important for us to also teach each other about these words, because some of us have been pronouncing them in a particular way, thinking that's the correct way. But here's an opportunity for us to know that it's not determine, it's determine, it's not butle, it's batlu,
Good morning, Clement and Tim. This is Sivule Maweni in Pretoria. The word for me is particular. I had this fellow brother of mine. He passed on a few years ago. This brother, Upuchabu. He would say particular. There's that particular program. So I would get confused because I've always known the word as particular. Now suddenly I'm hearing this guy, and he was well educated, saying particular. Then I started doubting myself as to maybe I've been wrong all these years. Thanks, Sivule Maweni, Pretoria.
Good morning, Clement, and to the 702 listeners. Clement, there's a verse in the Bible, right, in Corinthians chapter 11, where it speaks about the Lord's Supper, and it says that before you partake of the Lord's Supper, you need to examine yourself, right? But our pastors and our preachers, they use that word in the wrong context. They say examine yourself, and it's not examine yourself, it's examine yourself. Thank you. Great show. Bye.
Hi, Clement. Yeah, when we come to this name, WhatsApp, remember that the APP at the end of WhatsApp stands for application. So we don't say application, we say application. Then the full word will be WhatsApp.
Oh.
WhatsApp. Nope.
Okay,
I don't think that one is correct.
All right, then I've been saying it right then all along. What's up? Send us a WhatsApp. Because we got a voice note even earlier from someone who said, oh, people who say WhatsApp, it's WhatsApp. And I thought they are correct because I thought, okay, obviously WhatsApp is an app. So WhatsApp. But as you say, that's an application. You don't pronounce it application. That APP at the end. Huh? Zintle says it's an app. But what is APP standing for? If it stands for application, then it's WhatsApp, guys. How do we resolve this? I get this explanation. If that APP on WhatsApp stands for application, then how do we say WhatsApp? It's WhatsApp. Huh? Okay. 072 702 1702. Can we resolve that part before we get into our next segment after the news at 10 o'clock, please? It's 30 minutes before 10.
I'm a person with vision, and I need a car that will catapult me into the future. There's no time to waste dreaming. It's time to do and discover the extraordinary. My M-Zoom R-Style and I set the pace. It's my wingman. On the dance floor or with the CEO, time is money, and I want the best. Upgrading to the M-Zoom R-Style at the M-Zoom executive price is a steal of a deal. At 439,900 Rand, get yours this April before the VAT increase. GAC, where craft meets technology.
Mbali's selfie game just went from this to this. Take your selfie game to A-grade level with the new Samsung Galaxy A56. Enhance your selfies by creating your own custom filter with intelligent visual editing. Simply open your camera, snap a pic, tap the filter icon, tap My Filters, then create filter, and ta-da! Your pic just went from 0 to 100. Galaxy A56. Awesome intelligence is here.
Get tested this April at Specsavers and we'll give you a free optical frame up to the value of 1,000 Rand. Specsavers for affordable eye care and a whole lot more.
Your voice. Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's a minute before 10 o'clock.
Hi, Clement. This one really hits home. It's school versus school. And I've heard you say school more than once.
Is it school? Yeah, guys.
Hi, Clement. There's also another word that says married or married. So there's something that's the other word that's bothering me, like married or married. And also the other second word is more like on my name. Is it Russia or Russia? But it's same like, so I don't know. Thanks, Clement. Nice show. I'm seeing you on YouTube. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, Clement. Just heard the voice note regarding the pronunciation, however you want to say it this morning, of WhatsApp and WhatsApp. He's saying that WhatsApp is because you say application, but some of us say application. So it's a pronunciation thing again. So for some, WhatsApp would be right. For me, myself, WhatsApp would be right. So you can't go and say it's pronounced application because some of us say application. Most people are say, did you download that app? Not did you download that app where we going? So yeah, I'm not fighting. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Guys, how do we resolve this? Because I need to know how to say it so that I don't irritate a lot of you out there. Quasi on YouTube says, Clement, app is not pronounced up. Apple isn't pronounced apple. It's still pronounced apple. Like Apple as in the iPhone. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. We'll take your WhatsApps after the news at 10 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Government has committed to assisting the families of 3 rape victims in Matatiele in the Eastern Cape. The children aged between 6 and 7 were raped in the area around October last year. All of the incidents are alleged to have happened at their schools, with 2 of the children allegedly having suffered the ordeal at the same facility, which remains open. Zoleka Kodashe has more from the Eastern Cape.
Gobizembe is a rural area in Matatiele, far-flung from the city centre. It's mostly quiet, apart from the friendly exchanges between families and neighbours and the sounds of shepherds herding livestock. But beneath the lull lies a home in distress after the rape of a 7-year-old girl last year. Her relative says the little girl has never been the same since the ordeal.
3 weeks ago, she was admitted in hospital. Something was leaking from her ears. A mixture of blood and pus. She's also unable to control her bladder, sometimes sitting and passing urine unintentionally. Her anger is also intense.
The minor has since been transferred to a school in KwaZulu-Natal to offer the child a fresh start. Zoleka Kodashe, Eyewitness News, Matatiele, Eastern Cape.
A decision on whether former Chief Justice Mogoeng will face an impeachment inquiry is set to be announced today. The Judicial Service Commission must make the decision following a complaint by impeached Judge President John Hlophe. Hlophe laid the complaint claiming Mogoeng had a secret meeting with his then Deputy Judge Patricia Goliath, influencing her to lay a complaint against him. Khotso Mariri reports.
If the Judicial Service Commission agrees with the recommendation by the Judicial Conduct Committee, retired Chief Justice Mogoeng would be the first Chief Justice to face impeachment. Impeached Judge John Hlophe wants Mogoeng impeached too for allegedly influencing his then Deputy Judge President Patricia Goliath to lodge a complaint against him alleging assault and abusive language. But Mogoeng says his meeting with Goliath was not a secret and was held in the normal course of executing his judicial leadership responsibilities and was immersed in integrity. The JCC, led by Chief Justice Mandi Samaya, recommended that Mogoeng face an impeachment inquiry, but it's the JSC which must make the final decision. Khotso Mariri, Eyewitness News.
Political analyst Wayne Sussman says the Patriotic Alliance may become an obstacle for the DA in the next municipal elections following the results in recent by-elections. The Patriotic Alliance has snatched a highly contested ward in Johannesburg from the DA, which includes communities such as Westbury, Newlands and New Clare. The DA finished the by-election by 3rd place, with both the PA and ACDP overtaking the party. Sussman says this is a major victory for Gayton Mackenzie's political organisation.
The DA will continue to be concerned by the Patriotic Alliance, particularly in a province like Gauteng. This is a great result for the PA. They're the only party in the city of Johannesburg to have won wards off other political parties since the 2021 local government elections. And Ward 82 is more complicated because it's a diverse ward from a religious perspective, from a race perspective, and from a class perspective.
And protesters have displaced a banner calling Myanmar's junta chief a murderer as he joined a regional summit in Bangkok a week after a huge earthquake killed thousands, leaving desperate survivors pleading for food and shelter. More than 3,000 people are confirmed dead after the 7.7 magnitude quake, and the United Nations estimates that up to 3 million may have been affected in some way. Many left without shelter after their homes were destroyed. Many nations have sent aid and rescue teams, but on the ground in some of the worst hit areas, there is little sign of Myanmar's ruling military helping survivors. The junta leader held talks with other leaders from Bay of Bengal littoral nations at a push Bangkok, or a very expensive Bangkok hotel this morning. The decision to invite him drew criticism, and outside the venue, protesters hung a banner from a bridge reading, quote, "We do not welcome a murderer in this place." Gold is trading at $3,103.13 an ounce. The rand is at 18.90 to the dollar, 24.69 to the pound, 20.91 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $69.57 a barrel.
On our roads, City of Johannesburg, seeing some unusual pressure on the M1 heading north from Xavier, going past Omonde until you get to the Joburg CBD. Once you're in the Selby, Mayfair, Fortsburg region, high traffic volumes also Main Reef Road, Church Street and surrounding regions. While in the West Rand, Roodepoort seeing some stop and go traffic from Matholesville all the way to Cresswell Park. Please drive with ease.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 18 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Government has committed to assisting the families of 3 rape victims in Matatiele in the Eastern Cape.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 10 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. Thank you for your fun calls and WhatsApps about really these words that sometimes we mispronounce. And just to be clear, we're not saying here that you need to stress yourself and not sleep at night so that you're able to pronounce words like that. We're just having fun about words we thought we've always pronounced right. Obviously, we are exposed to a lot of US television, but we use UK English. So sometimes there's going to always be that just the misunderstanding of some of the words where you pronounce them using, British way or the American way. But I really enjoyed our fun chat this morning just about some of the words that we pronounce and we thought we were getting them right, but actually we were not. It was also a lot of learning for a lot of people. Time now for our Thursday dialogue.
Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Across the Desk feature, our Thursday dialogue was yesterday. And today on our Across the Desk feature, I am hosting, I said to you earlier, they often call them PKs. These are pastors' children. The reason we're doing this is we recently hosted Hlomla Dandala on the show a couple of weeks ago. And he was sharing his experience of being a pastor's child and the kind of pressure that he faced. And there was a call that I received also about 2 months or so ago when we were doing one of our Healing Hour features. And there's a guy who called and said he ended up getting addicted to drugs and alcohol because he grew up in a home that wanted to force an identity on him. They wanted him to take over the church because his dad was a pastor and he just couldn't relate. Yes, he believed in God, but he didn't want to be a pastor. He didn't believe he's called. So there are all sorts of pressures that come with being a pastor's child. These are people we hold in high regard. We put them on a pedestal as a society, but the experiences are also different. So I thought we could invite pastors' children who can come and share their experiences with us. So we've got Mpendulo Mhlanga, who's joining us in studio. Mpendulo, thank you so much for making time. How are you?
Really appreciate it. I'm well, in yourself, sir.
You happen to also be a pastor.
Yes.
They must be happy at home, eh?
They're probably listening and like, yeah.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah, we also have Khotso Mariri. Khotso, thank you for also making time for us.
No, thank you.
You didn't become a pastor.
Oh, no.
And Jessica Dube as well in studio with us. Jessica, thank you for also coming through.
Absolute pleasure. It's wonderful to be here. And this is the first time my worlds are colliding.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting conversation.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to start off with you. I want you to just share a brief experience as a daughter being raised in a household like that. What are the expectations looking like? Is there pressure? Were you allowed to just be you?
So let me just give everyone some background. So my name's Jessica Dube. My parents are Bishop T.I. Mtimkulu and Pastor Veronica Mtimkulu. They pastor a church in Sebokeng in the Vaal, Sebokeng and Van der Bijl Park. And my earliest memories are hopping from one building to the next, Sunday after Sunday, because our church, hey, it was tricky in the beginning. It was a small church building, and all the community halls in the community used to get so angry that this church is just everywhere. So just being around people, being in praise and worship rehearsals, and
so you were part of praise and worship.
So, I mean, I was everywhere my parents were. Yeah. So if they're at rehearsal, I'm at rehearsal. If they had a church leaders meeting, I'm there. There was no babysitter. So I was everywhere. I was friends with all the other pastors' kids and then all the other kids in children's ministry. And it was just a big, vibrant adventure that at times I struggled with it. At times it was beautiful. I'm an only child. So being around people was just absolutely fascinating to me. Where I used to struggle was the things I didn't get to choose. So Sunday morning, we are all going to church.
Whether you feel like it or not.
Whether you feel like it or not. And it's funny.
And you get there early, hey?
Yeah,
you can't just get there like us at 9, service
First
starts
in,
at 9.
last out, And it's funny how I always said, when I grow up, I'm going to choose my own life. I'm not going to do anything like this. And I ended up getting into youth ministry, and I'm exactly like my parents were. So
really?
It's,
But you ended up in television.
Yes.
How did they rationalize that? Like, were they okay with it when you were like, this is what I want to do?
My parents have always given me or allowed me the freedom to determine my path. Even when I struggled with figuring out what am I going to be in this world. And also, I have to say this. From a young age, I was very clear on the fact that God had given me a gift with my voice. And I think because they had also identified that instead of coming with what they thought, which was that I was going to be a worship leader, which didn't happen. I can sing, I can make a joyful noise, but no. Have a musical ear, but no. They always saw that there's a gift on her voice, and they allowed me to determine that with God, at my own pace, at my own time.
That's amazing. Mpendulo, how was that experience for you growing up?
Mpendulo Mhlanga, the pastor of General Assembly in Rhodoport. But I grew up in Nelspruit. I'm from Mpumalanga, Nelspruit. And the experience. So I was told that from the hospital, before I went home, I was taken straight to get consecrated and baptized at a youth conference on the 16th of June before I went home. So from the hospital to church before going home.
You met church before home.
Before home. So I was told exactly that. But, it's never easy. Yeah. It's never easy because the pressure actually is not usually from the parents.
Yeah.
The pressure is usually from everyone else. Hey, pastor's kid, hey, PK. Yeah. And then in Siswati, people would say, Mfundisa kamdali mfundisi. Yes. You know that saying that pastor does not give birth to a pastor. And I went through my journey. The beautiful thing is that I fell into music. I have a picture of me, I think I was 3 years old, sleeping on an organ. My brother had just been born, and no one was giving me attention. My next favorite thing was sitting on that organ. So I started playing keyboards at the age of 6. I picked up a bass guitar at age 14. So church for me was one of the spaces where I could express myself as a musician. I got into different types of music later, released music. There's now jazz, there's now this. But it was beautiful for me all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes when people don't leave. It's now 8 p.m.
Yes.
Like these people are not leaving. And when you calculate the number of beds and the bedroom, so my brother and I would immediately know that now we need to go grab the sponge and put the sleeping bag over the sponge. We are not sleeping in our beds.
And that's the thing about pastors is your home becomes everybody's home.
Yes.
The door is open to people who are having problems with their partners, problems with their kids, they come there.
Yeah.
And sometimes they must sleep over. You must do the dishes.
Yeah.
They must eat. These
I have
people.
many malumes and uncles and aunts that I don't know. How are we related?
Yeah.
I mean, when I was younger, I tried to, like, how are we related with this one? And then you realize, I know. She just came and never left.
Khotso, how about you?
Yeah, my experience was it was something different. I think my parents are, still in the ministry. They're still strong. And my dad is an evangelist. So, you go to church, building. Once that's done, moves on to the next. So, I mean, I never had any choice. Obviously, just like she said, Sunday you go to church. And religion was something that has never resonated with me
from when you were young.
From the beginning, from when I was young. So it was very difficult. Ultimately, I had to subscribe to the rules of the home. This is what happens. I think to Mpendulo's point, sometimes you go home, like you expect to sleep on your own bed, but there's somebody that your parents are helping that needs to be there. Sometimes for a week, sometimes for a month. And I think that outside of that, not even resonating with, religion in its entirety is now not having to disappoint my parents in terms of, appearances. How do I appear? Am I behaving well? Is this what's happening? I think, to this day, it still does not make sense to me.
Yeah.
I believe in a higher power, but, I think my mother had always hoped that, someday, I'll get back to God.
Yeah.
And
Let's
all
call
of
that higher power God.
So, I just found it to be very stressful because, at the very same time, you don't want to disappoint your parents.
Yes.
But at the same time, you want to be true to who you are.
And self-determined, right? Because what's the point of also following something not truly, but because it's forced on you?
Yeah.
So did they ever say to you, like, did you ever tell them that I don't resonate, and how did they take it?
Yeah,
they put hands on you and start speaking in tongues.
No, I think it's just conversations that just went, past them to say, he has not seen it yet. He'll see it.
Okay.
Eventually, he'll see it. I've got a partner now who's who's religious, which I don't have an issue with. It's her faith. And my mom was so excited when she first met her to say, now that he's with this person, he's going to go back to God. But I still feel, the same way. And as a father now myself, there was a tussle. I was telling them outside that when my son turned 1, he needed to, there was a christening, and I was opposed to it. I'm like, let him grow up. He'll decide when
make his own choice.
He'll make his own choices. But there was pressure from both sides of the family to say this needs to happen. This is what we do. So I think it's a very difficult thing to navigate. Because I think what you said starting out, I think by the time I got to varsity, I was so happy to be outside of that environment and just not be responsible for the perception of how my parents looked like or the church community, etc. I was away, I was in varsity. I did not have to worry about that, and I could be myself and not have that responsibility.
How did you guys deal, Jessica, with just the expectations now from society? Because as Mpendulo said, a lot of pressure actually comes from outside, where the church expects you to be someone in like your dad is a pastor, or these people are respected. You must somehow also take up something that's also going to put you here, even if you don't become a pastor. But they like it when they say, oh, the pastor's child, ke lawyer, ke what, whatever they think to them is like here, Did you experience that a lot from other people who just had an expectation of you that you must be like this?
I think I still see it to this day, that how can they be this big, powerful man of God, and then, some of it must have fallen to you, that anointing it must have. And where I used to struggle was not so much being in their presence or that shadow. It was that pressure that you're talking about, not necessarily in my relationship with God, but in what I was to become. So there'd be people who would say, I sense a calling of ministry on your life. And I used to shudder whenever I'd hear that, because I was going to be in TV. I was going to be in the broadcast industry. That's what I want. And I think it made me very fierce to determine my own path. And then I got to a stage where I realized that, you know what? If God didn't tell me that, if I haven't felt that in my spirit, then I can't accept that. So I'd always say to people, I'll pray about it. I'll pray about it. And it's funny how I fought that thing so hard. And one day I was sitting in Rhema, funny enough, and it was a pastor's kid on stage. It was Pastor Joshua Macaulay. And he said there, who will take this gospel to the world if not us? And it felt like my whole world was turning. And I knew in that moment, between me and God, this is God calling me into ministry. And it was, I sat there, I still had a mask on. It was still during the COVID time. And my mask was wet because I was crying. And I realized that my running from God had come to an end.
This is it now.
In terms of, I had a relationship with God, that's fine. But the call upon my life, I fought it. And I've realized now that it doesn't have to be either or. The gifts and the skills that God has given me, I can use that in the house of God. It all comes together, and He's got a greater plan, and I'm no longer running from Him anymore.
Mpendulo, did they tell you are called? Like, did your father ever say, I think Uzobo passed, man?
So the beautiful thing about me is that I spent my teens at home, and I was just thinking I'm just going to be this great musician, and so the pressures that I would have faced ended in my teens. So when I was 19, 20, I moved to Johannesburg. I now needed to be myself.
Yeah.
So the only time my dad said you're going to be a pastor is when I was telling him in 2016-ish, there's something weird happening in my life I don't understand. And for me, trust me, I had said I would never become a pastor. I had a relationship with God, born again, saved, and did everything as a teenager and as a young person, and God. But I understood that God's love had covered me. Yeah. From an early age, there's this one man, he passed away. He was an evangelist. He always called me Tycoon. Yeah. So from an early age, I had these weird names around me saying, yeah, you're going to be, and I just looked at them and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I've always had these names. Nobody said to me, you're going to be a pastor. No. Nobody said to me, you're going to become, no. Everybody around would be like, yeah, you sound like a pastor. You look like a pastor. I'm like, hey, and over time, there was a time where it was just before my birthday in 2016, I think, And then I had this conversation with my dad, and my dad was like, yeah, you were a victim of train up a child so that when he's older, he will not leave this way, I don't think my parents were sitting there praying. I know my dad would tell me that he would pray for myself and my brother while my mom was pregnant. And not to become pastors, but to become whatever we wanted to be, but be covered by God. So I don't think my parents prayed for me to become a pastor, but that so happened.
What do you guys remember when you were young? Like, did you guys pray like a lot? Like, I mean,
yes.
I didn't. Yes. My parents were not pastors, but I do remember times when my mom used to force us to come kneel here.
Okay.
Come, let's pray. What's your recollection? Did you guys pray in the morning, during lunch, when you come back from school, before you sleep, at midnight?
I think to this day, my entire family, not just my immediate family, like nothing happens without prayer. You eat, you pray. Something good happens, we pray. Ultimately, you participate in those things because it means something to the greater ecosystem of the family. I think despite not being that way inclined, I see the value in it in terms of how it keeps the family together and how we look after community. I might not necessarily minister in the traditional sense of ministering, but it has taught me a sense of community, with my friends, with my network, to make sure that we look after each other, make sure that we're hitting the right path. So the prayer thing, my mother always says, don't think that all these things are happening because of your own will and your might and all the rest. It's because we are interceding on your behalf, you know, and you are able to do the things that you're doing because we are interceding on your behalf.
Yeah.
You know,
were you guys allowed? I'm going to go to some calls in a moment and some WhatsApps as well. But were you guys allowed to listen to any music you wanted to listen to or watch any movie you wanted to?
What do you mean, man? So my dad was very, very strategic. So my dad hated anything that is a soapy. He called, sorry, Dad. He called the bold, and he called it the bold and the bloody fool. You know? Days of our death. So my dad would be very strategic. At 8 o'clock, when Generations is about to start, we're going to have prayer. And then there's a songbook, one of my favorite songbooks. It's only my favorite now. When I listen to the lyrics and I go through the words, I'm like, yo, these people were deep. But I didn't like it. My dad, so that songbook, one song has 5 stanzas excluding the chorus. So he'd make us sing 4 of those songs. So one song has 6 stanzas, with the chorus. So by the time Generations is over, you've just finished singing. We have not prayed yet. So,
I think for...
Trust me.
So no Generations.
No, we would watch it. I remember when Yizo came out.
Yo,
and then we were like, yo, Asamen Bugeli. Bian Stotanda. So I watched Yizo in my 20s as a series.
Yeah.
I've never. So everyone is telling about it at school, and you're like, yo.
Yeah.
What was happening when? I've never watched it.
Yo, guys, Jessica, you?
I think, I resonate with that. I remember there being a TV in my room, and then, every time I'd hear the Yizo theme song, and I just remember an evangelist preaching in a crusade about, Yizo is this and it's that, so I had this distance from it. I watch it now in my older years, and I realized this was a transformative show that was reflecting society back to itself. On the thing about secular music, in our house, it was Ron Kenoli, Don Moon, it was Hillsong playing in the house, Joyous Celebration. Yes, these were but I enjoyed praise and worship so much, but Simunya grooves, man. Now and then I would tune there just to, and I struggled so much with just wanting society to accept me, and I wanted to know what's the secular music that people listen to. When I was a teenager, I grew this obsession with Tupac, and it used to irk my dad. He was the wallpaper on my computer, and my dad was just like, "Hi, man, this Tupac," So I learned that, art is a gift that God has given so many people. Where those things collide in terms of our society, that's another debate for another day. But in our house, your secular music, I rebelled a lot in that area. Now, though, I'm on a completely different journey. I enjoy praise and worship music very much. It's informed so much of my understanding of music.
So you guys in Supatsila High School, Yizo?
No. Man, I knew it in my 20s. No, never.
Fascinating. Let's go to some WhatsApps on 072 702 and 702.
Good morning, Clement. My name is Clement.
Hello, Clement.
My father was a pastor in the Lutheran Church. Everyone thought I was going to follow in his steps, and I became a lawyer. He got pissed for a couple of years when I was studying at Tugs. I was not allowed to visit home. But it's very difficult, but at least we got to reconcile before he passed away. Great show, by the way.
Morning, Clement. Ndate Moruti, Pretoria. I myself was a pastor's kid, and then they were like Ndate Moruti and Mamburuti, and then they also grew up to become bishop and Ndate Bishop and my bishop respectively, also to Archbishop and March, and then I went on to follow their full steps, and then there's this consideration that I have to take their place, and then as a front runner to their position, so Ndate Moruti I will be.
Listen, as long as you feel that it is your calling, and that's what you're meant to. Oh, someone was asking about Megxit. Did you guys have Megxit?
Yes, we did. They didn't know about it. They were not tech savvy, so we had Mix It. They didn't know.
But also Mix It was safe at the time, I suppose. It's like you and your friends.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
But there's this one girl, I see her circulating on social media. We all had a crush on that one girl on social
media. Mix It?
Yeah.
You should talk about it.
Yeah. It was a fancy face. Somebody like that. Yeah. So we had those because they didn't know about them.
Yeah, it makes it. It's 10:30. Let's get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. When we come back, more of your calls and WhatsApps. Sfiso, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The Pretoria High Court is set to deliver a ruling on an application by former Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula to access the investigation diary of her corruption case today. Mapisa-Nqakula is charged with the 12 counts of corruption and one of money laundering. It's alleged that while she was defense minister, she solicited and received bribes amounting to 4.5 million rand from a contractor. The Transport Department has welcomed the Supreme Court of Appeal ruling dismissing the Road Accident Fund's bid to dictate how its books are audited. The RAF wanted to use an international accounting standard, but the Auditor General has stood firm on using South Africa's generally recognized accounting practice. And Israel says it has killed a commander of a Palestinian militant group, Hamas, in a strike in Lebanon that's also killed his adult son and daughter. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam has condemned the strike as a flagrant attack on Lebanese sovereignty and a breach of the November 27 ceasefire with Israel. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Very good morning once more. We start in the city of Johannesburg, still seeing that unusual pressure. M1 heading north from Omonde, past Boysons until you get to the Crown Interchange, city of Ekurhuleni, stop and go traffic. R24 Albertina Sisulu Highway, westbound, all the airport routes free flowing heading towards Lanseria International Airport, as well as OR Tambo International Airport. Just look out for the natural pressure that we tend to experience around this time. Malibongo Drive around the Stratham Park region, southbound towards Ferndale, and then in the nation's capital. N1 South saw some heavy pressure of half an hour at some point. There is an improvement, though there's still about 15-minute long delays between Brakfontein Road and Midrand, and then in the opposite direction, N1 heading north, also quite slow, and this is passing through Waterfall Estate and Waterfall City. Please continue driving with care. I'll have your next traffic update in 30 minutes or as it happens.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Is there still going to be a VAT increase on the 1st of May? So is it disingenuous for Action SA to say that they've stopped a VAT increase?
Well, look, we haven't stopped it yet because there's certain commitments that have been made. Now, the reality is about this budget is that we have a standoff about VAT being increased because the social relief of distress grant has had to be extended because the GNU government can't grow this economy. Right. So there are more and more people that are dependent. And because of that mess, we are in this impasse now.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
When last did you shop around for a real deal on your car insurance? Well, switch to Outsurance and you could save big every month. Gordon, a 44-year-old man, is a real Outsurance client who saves a mind blogging 2,794 Rand a month on his 2019 Ford Everest 2-liter automatic. Isn't it time you got the real deal? Don't pay more. Switch and save today. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. With Outsurance, you always get something out. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Do you have the pace to ace the race? The 3 million Rand race. It's the one and only Spinner Zonke jackpot race, and it's exclusive to Hollywood Bets. Feel the heat from the hottest slots as you seek to spin your way to fabulous fortunes and precious prizes. A thrilling 3 million Rand is up for grabs every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday when you hunt for hidden treasures and spin for big wins. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bets supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
So we did a thing. A full commitment kind of thing. We've partnered with Sixt to bring worldwide to your doorstep. So you see how that's a serious thing. Because that's what you deserve. We know you're the GOAT, so premium it is. Premium service, premium vehicles, Premium you, premium us. Sani Sixt is all about adding extra to ordinary. Extra reach, extra countries, so you can be extra premium worldwide. Be the greatest of all time and rent Sani Sixt.
702 was in conversation with Altron, celebrating 60 years of solving real-world problems and discussing their plans to rebuild and re-energize Johannesburg through partnership and collaboration.
You've partnered with Josie Majosi. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I think firstly, it's really important that it's time to tell the Joburg story. You know, I think for good reasons, you know, things like Eskom, Transnet has been a big part of the national dialogue over the last couple of years. But I think it's really time that we put our focus on Joburg. You know, it's the heartbeat of the South African economy. And you know, obviously Altron's been, you know, as you said now with Bill and the founding of Altron, you know, very much part of that story. So what we've really done is we really feel that we've been part of building this city. So we want to really be part of the efforts to rebuild the city. So we partnered with Josie Majosi. They're a non-for-profit organization. You know them.
Visit Altron.com for more info. Altron, a technology industry leader since 1965.
Across the desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
24 minutes before 11 o'clock on our Across the Desk this morning. I'm hosting pastors' children. They've been sharing their experiences with us growing up, how they've dealt or rationalized some of the pressures, whether coming from home or coming from outside, the church, the society. And I'm asking you, if maybe you were a pastor's child or maybe you grew up with pastors' children, what did you observe? What kind of pressures did they face? 011-883-0702 is the number to dial. The WhatsApp line is 0727021702. Pumlani, you're calling us from Pretoria. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you, Clement?
Good man. How are you?
I'm okay. You know, Clement, me growing up, I grew up under a church. I don't want to name the church. So normally, we don't have pastors. We have people who are called elders. So normally where I used to stay, I used to have like that one guy who normally it used to be like the old guys there who are elders. So what normally happens, Clement, is they act like pastors. They're very same as pastors. So the expectations is that, okay, as you grow up, you must get baptized and then you start serving the congregation and whatever, you know. And you know what bothered me, Clement? What made me leave the church is that there was this thing that with them, when you do something, when you are baptized, they remove you, like even the family is supposed to kind of like neglect you in a sense that you are no longer part of the family.
Oh, so when you make a mistake or you commit a sin.
Yes. But up until you decide to change, and then the church, I think you go through interviews and whatever, and the church takes you back. You know what I'm trying to say. And another thing that bothered me, I think it's not only with this church, but with most churches. The thing of, they felt like they are the only true church. So meaning that the other churches are not true. In a sense that when you see other people, these ones are just worshiping the devil and whatever. So we need to take them to our church. So that I've always asked questions, how sure are we that we're the true church? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, what makes you believe we're the ones that are going to be saved and the other people are going to be like, no, go to hell or whatever the case can be? That they never answered that question. So for me, I felt, you know what, I don't want to get baptized. I don't want to go through all that. I'm just fine. I'm just going to believe in God, you know, in my own way and stuff like that. So for me, it causes a lot of conflict. You know, everywhere where you are, you always have to argue with people and stuff like that. Because when you believe that you are better than the other people and stuff like that.
Yeah, Pumlani, thank you so much for raising that. I actually hosted Bishop Mosasono yesterday on the show. And he was just also saying that, you know, sometimes there are people who put pastors on a pedestal. Like we think, for instance, pastors are not human beings who also go through emotions, who may find themselves making mistakes. You know, we think they're these angelic creatures that are, you know, that are like God. No, like they're human beings. They're just gifted and they have a calling. They have a different role, but they're human beings. And equally so, even sometimes with pastors' children, where, I mean, for the church to kick you out just because you've made a mistake or a sin, that's not what the church is supposed to do, even when you look at the Bible.
True.
Yeah, that's weird. And Tabi, you are in Pretoria East. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement and Pastor's kids, fellow Pastor's kids. Hello.
Hey.
Listen, I have a very different reality. My reality is because I think there's a very big difference between pastor's kids who grow up in ministries. And ministries would be that Ubabako is the be all and end all, or Umamako is the be all and end all of the church. And then everybody else leadership cascades to the bottom, Babakwe is on top. But when you speak to pastors' kids who grew up in your typical Orthodox churches, especially your Lutheran churches, your Presbyterians, your Methodists, your Seventh-day Adventists, name it, all of these churches, our realities are different because there is a different strategy of management which happens there, and the expectation is not Uguti now, it's more on Uguti, how is your relationship with God? Is your relationship with God making you to form part of the arms of part of the different various parts of the body? Like, for instance, are you like in the strategy of your walk with God? Is it, are you the arm, or are you the leg, are you the eye, are you the, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's no expectation. There's not a good you must be a praise leader. Sometimes you'll always be somebody who just can't sing. But there are other things that you are good at. You're good with kids. You're good with this or that or the other. So our realities are different. I would suggest, in fact, Clement, that one day call those who are from pastors' homes of the typical, what I would call Protestant churches, including Roman Catholic if possible, Protestant churches, and you will hear the huge difference between the two.
Yeah, that's so fascinating, Ntabi, and thank you for sharing that. Wait, which church were you part of, Ntabi?
Oh, I'm Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Adventist. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that experience with us. Nkateko, good morning.
Morning, Clement, and morning to your guests, the fellow PKs.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to share about my experience. Obviously, I resonate with, almost everybody's sentiments in terms of, leaving your bedroom or your bed. You're not sure if you're going to be sleeping on the same bed the next day. The big one for us was hospitality, especially after church.
Yeah.
So you just cook in this big pots, and you're not sure if you're gonna even get a piece from
no,
that pot.
Man.
Because, yes, visitors came all the time, and you had to be prepared. Cleaning, changing linen, and my mother, who went to be with the Lord recently, was very particular about no one visitor can sleep on the same sheet. So that meant we are a laundromat, we are a hotel, a hospitality. I mean, we still have this running story with my sisters where a person knocked at around 2 a.m. and we still repeat that, and we obviously had to be uprooted from our bedroom. But I think for me, what was the biggest impact was the self-concept, because it communicated to me that I'm not as important as the other people, how they were regarded. But in retrospect, I also see where they were coming from. I see where hospitality plays a role in the Bible, where the Bible says, entertain visitors who know you might be entertaining an angel. So it was from a goodness of their hearts without them knowing what will be their long-term impact. And obviously, I had to work through that self-concept, the non-deserving kind of, whatever it impacted in me. But more than that, I think I'm grateful for a legacy of faith. Because more than anything, according to, I think it's Proverbs 13:22, a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. We said to our father recently, yes, thank you for leaving us money, but the biggest legacy is the legacy of faith. And that is what I want to pass on to my kids as well.
Amazing. Kateko in Pretoria, thank you so much for your call. I want to ask this, and I know it's quite a difficult question, but how do you, because, the way we parent is evolving now. There are some parents who say, like you said, Khotso, you wanted your child to make up his own mind when he's grown. What's your approach, Jessica, if you do want to have children or you have children? Do you want to allow them to make that decision for themselves, or you want to say, I will introduce them to what I know? And then if later on they see something differently, then that's them. But I want to introduce them to at least what I know and what I've always believed in.
I think when that time comes, I would want to, the first thing my kids must experience is the love of God. The love of God comes first. Our home comes first. And everything else must flow from that. One thing that I feel so grateful for that my parents did was, and I think you mentioned it, was covering me But then knowing that there's an age of accountability that's going to come where you need to figure out this road for yourself. And, you know, when I was a teenager, I remember being on the Johannesburg Junior Council, and it's these leaders from, you know, different schools across Johannesburg. And there I encountered, you know, because look, I went to a Catholic high school, public primary school, but in council, there were Jewish students, there were students of many other faiths, and there were others who were atheists also. There were those who were of the Baha'i faith and the, you know, all these different faiths coming together. And it was the first time, that and varsity, where I really had to look at all these different faiths, and it's like my beliefs were tested. You know, philosophy tested my beliefs, all these different things. You know, we used to have arguments on campus, you know, but what about the missionaries? And what about, you know, the Bible was distorted, and hey, the Bible was always the enemy on campus. But I think that, coming back to your question, it's important that God has given everybody free will, even pastors' kids. It's not that the Bible applies to the congregation and then not to us. Jesus has, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Jesus would not knock at a place and just barge his way in. He knocks because the choice is yours. And I want my kids to understand that, but I also want them to grow up in a home where there's the love of God.
Yeah.
That for me is important.
And for you, Mpendulo, as a pastor right now, what's the approach with your kids?
I still subscribe to train up a child. The verses, I think, is in Proverbs 22. I still subscribe to the train up a child so that he will not leave this way when he is old. Now, that I love reading the Bible for what it actually says. I love the English. It says train up. You understand? Train up. Now, whether the child goes there or there is certain values that will be instilled from an early age because they have been trained up. And I thank my parents. My parents were very strict. My dad was very strict. You know. But I understand now that I was telling the guys that if I was not here, I probably would have been worse off of everything that has happened to my life. And I'm the type of person who does not come and say, hey, no. I've gone through things. I've done things. You know. But that training up for me is very important. It's very important. I actually was saying a few weeks ago that we need to introduce the love of God, like you're saying, the love of God. And the love of God must be seen through the parents. The parents must display the love of God. The other day I read a post. It says, religion says, oh my goodness, I've messed up. I'm running away from God. But salvation says, oh, I've messed up. I'm going straight to God. I need my Father because I've messed up. And that's the platform and that's the place where salvation comes. I always say there's a difference between religion and salvation. Religion is every other belief and every other church doctrine and church law. But salvation, Jesus says, come as you are so that you can be changed. And that's the thing. But for children, for me, it's important to instill certain beliefs. I'm going to take a lot of what my parents did. Yeah, they were strict and there's other things I feel like, but I was not allowed to play with a firearm or a gun. I was never bought a gun toy. And I understand what my dad was doing now. Because as much as I watched all those movies, I didn't know go practice how to shoot. And he was saying, I don't want violence to be the order of the day. You get what I'm trying to say? I'm going to take so much for my children. I'm going to take so much of that so that when they are older, I'm caught up by what my parents instilled in me at an early age, and that's what's happening for me. Really,
it stayed with you. Yeah. And also for you, does your partner understand that we must negotiate these things because she may believe so, you may have a different approach. Do you meet each other halfway on how to raise your kids?
I think we meet each other halfway because despite us having different views, the values are still the same. You know, you need to instill values of kindness, you know, looking after community, just being a good person in general. And I think that is something that we can agree upon. You know, obviously certain things, you know, there has to be a rudder that steers the ship. And there's certain things that I cannot run away from. I can't say make your own decisions about everything, but certain things to influence that. You are an upstanding citizen of society. And you care about others, and you're courteous and you're kind. We agree with regards to those values. With regards to other things, that will be a decision taken between us as parents and what the child decides in terms of what they want to lead, how they want to lead their lives in terms of their spirituality and all the rest.
Yeah. What music did you listen to growing up, by the way?
Oh, I listened to all and sundry. I listened to a lot of heavy metal, hip hop, jazz.
Did they know you listening to that?
Oh no, I played rugby in high school, so every time on my Walkman I would have my Limp Bizkit CD. And obviously, sometimes if that comes out, it's like, what do you listen to? What's this type of music? I think there used to be a brand. It was a skater brand. It was called No Fear. It had a skull and fire. I had gone and my dad said, "Hey, do you want to get a T-shirt?" So I got this T-shirt and I got it home. So I put it on because I was so excited with regards to this brand. My mother saw it. Was like, "No, this is the devil." She started praying the same time. What is this? This is the Antichrist and all of that. I'm like, it's just a brand. And I think in that moment, my dad's like, just relax. Let's just leave this thing. But in terms of music and everything, there was always, I think my dad was more the liberal, instilling the values. My mom was the, the Stones person. My mom is a prayer warrior, sometimes, even if I don't understand these things, you can kind of feel that somebody's interceding on your behalf somewhere.
Somewhere. Let's go to some WhatsApps.
Good morning, Clement and the 702 listeners. This is Master Strike here. I was born in a very Christian family. After being adopted by my grandparents, and my grandpa was a pastor, it was very difficult for me. I was forced to read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation at a very tender age. Knew the verses, most of the verses in the Bible. It was so tough always at church. I had to do everything. I had to read out the Bible verses in church. Everything was just hectic. However, it was nice until I turned 12. I was baptized, and then at 14 I decided no. I became a rebel. At 18 I went for military training. By 20 I started traveling the world, and now I'm a master in the martial arts, a personal trainer. Only believe in spirituality, nature, and an omnipotent being that is totally different from what I was brought up to know by grandparents. May my grandpa rest in peace.
Clement, it's Emmanuel from Alex. So I really can relate very well as a PK. So my dad is an archbishop even today, but he's now old. So you grow up into this church, become a youth leader, you get married, you have kids. Everyone expects you to be a junior pastor because you understand the culture and the dynamics of everything that is happening inside the church. But as time goes on, know yourself. You decide to take the red pill or the blue pill. So that's who I am currently. The pressures increase. I still go to church, to attend, pray, and there's so much expectation. And if you don't really control it yourself and say, no, this is the path that I've chose, some of the things you don't have to say it out, but you just have to act on it. Thank you.
Hi, I'd like to remain anonymous. I'm a pastor's kid as well. And I think our experiences as pastors' kids are different because there are the Bazaloni churches and then there's the typical Orthodox churches, which have been here for eons of years. Those ones, they have different structures, and it makes it easier for people to be individuals than to immediately feel like they have the pressure of being called into ministry.
Thank you so much for your WhatsApps. There's a question that came through around the pressure to get married. Did you guys have that of, Jessica, you're a pastor's child, you have to, or at this age? And then there's this young lady, Mpendulo, that they say this is the one for you. Because Umawakena is an elder in the church. You can't just bring anyone in this house. Was there pressure for you?
There wasn't pressure for me. So you mean there are people who you are there and then they are telling you who you must marry?
When are you getting married? Yeah. And also, like, you have to marry the right person. So you can't just grab a Clement on the street. It must be someone who also, like, comes from a family that is from, like this background. Like the pastor, maybe dad is an elder. It can't be just this musician or something.
Sometimes I think where I struggle is that human beings add layers to life that are not in the Bible. I don't know where in the Bible it says that, somebody is determined for you in the church, and now you have to, again, I come back to, why would God have given us a heart to feel? Why would God have given us a relationship with Him where we must work out our own salvation in fear and trembling, and fear meaning reverence for God? Allow God to lead you in those areas. I really, and if there's anyone who wants to disagree with me, that's okay. But this is the thing I think that pastors' kids really struggle with, is that inability to self-determine, or where everything about your life is just predetermined for you. And I think marriage is a big step, and there's no such thing as the perfect person. There are pastors who have fallen, who have made mistakes and have had to repent from them. I mean, if a pastor can make a mistake, even the partner of a pastor's kid can do the same thing. And I mean, this is the restorative grace that we learn about in the Bible, where Jesus came to free the captives and where Jesus came to give us, salvation. So I think everything that we do in the house of God must have a biblical perspective, because when we put our own rules and we say, no, you must marry this one and you must marry that, that is religion.
Yeah.
And for you?
So thankfully, my parents never forced whom to marry, ever. In fact, my parents only guided in everything else. But I had a very strong self-determination from an early age. There's certain things that I just wouldn't do. There's certain things that I would do. So, funny enough, I'm a divorcee. Soon to get married again, funny enough. And the mistakes that I made in my first marriage were not on my parents, were not on anybody else. It was me. I take full accountability for that. But I had a time where I sat and I had to go through, what is this thing and how did I contribute to messing this up? To the point where, the other day God was saying to me, I'm calling you into the marriage ministry. You're going to hold marriage seminars to tell people what the difference is and how it's supposed to be done. But I've never, my parents have, even now going to get married, my parents will never choose for me who to marry. But I do believe that it is important to marry. You don't marry the right person, you marry the right kind of person. Yeah, understand? Do not be equally yoked with unbelievers, I believe in a sense that an unbeliever is not necessarily someone who is now also a pastor's kid or anything like that. Unbelievers, somebody must confess that they know God, that they believe that they are saved and Jesus Christ is their Lord and Savior, and to some degree walk that path. Everyone has made mistakes. I am the banner of mistakes in my life, But I'm saying that it's important. Don't now go start problems. Don't go fetch problems for yourself. You get what I'm trying to say? Marry the right kind of person, the person who has similar beliefs. The Bible says, how can two walk together lest they agree? And you need not just agree because you have feelings for one another. Oh, my heart is bubbling. You need to agree on principles. How you're going to raise kids, how you're going to do finances. How do you believe certain principles? So don't go fetch the problem.
Yeah. And Khotso, for you, was there that pressure on marriage?
Not pressure per se, I think, maybe sometimes it was self-created pressure where every time you date, you want to date somebody that your mother would like because of because of the faith and all of that. I always used to joke around with people that I date. I'm like, you know what, if you really want to impress my mom, read the Bible. I promise you. You'll have a good time. You know what I mean? Just say one verse. But I'm like, you must understand that once you say that verse, you are locked in. You're going to have to participate in all and sundry. But I think later on, obviously, I think to Mpendulo's point, it's just to, go for people that have, shared values. And that's how I determined, the type of partner, that I've chosen. Just it's the shared values piece, but there was never that pressure. But sometimes even if it's not there, you kind of feel it. It's like implied. It's not there. It's not tangible.
Not saying it.
It's not saying
but you
it.
feel it.
Yeah,
guys, thank you so much for making time for us. Mpendulo Mhlanga, Khotso Mariri, and Jessica Dube. This was so much fun and informative. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
It's 11 o'clock.
You don't want to miss out on Powerball, which is estimated at a massive 100 million rand jackpot this Friday. Don't delay. Play Powerball for an estimated 100 million rand jackpot today, and you could be celebrating millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Dear Journal, day 4,548 of trying to be an adult. I used to believe that I have 206 bones in my body. Now, I can hear that I have 206 bones in my body.
Aggressively realizing your age? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's simple and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
So, did you hear about your team losing?
Just a trim on the sides, please.
And there you go. Fabulous as always.
Same time next week?
Oh, indeed.
Meet our audience. They're cutting their hair, working, living their lives, sharing stories, and always listening. So if you're going to interrupt them, it better be good. Prime Media Broadcasting Sales. We help you connect with every fantastic, quirky, and exciting individual in our audience, from the barbershop to the boardroom. Let's make sure your brand is heard. Contact us at advertise@primemedia.co.za today.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The High Court in Pretoria is delivering a ruling on an application by former Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula to access the investigation diary of her corruption case today. Mapisa-Nqakula is charged with 12 counts of corruption and 1 of money laundering. It's alleged that while she was defense minister, she solicited and received bribes amounting to 4.5 million rand from a contractor. Tabiso Koba reports.
The state has already disclosed sections A and B of the police dockets against Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. However, it says it's not willing to hand over section C of the dockets, which is the police book investigation diary. It contains dates of when the police began investigating Mapisa-Nqakula, when they met witnesses, and other minor details. The state says the information is privileged and won't be used against Mapisa-Nqakula during trial. However, Mapisa-Nqakula's lawyers say the state is potentially hiding information that could exonerate their client. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
The Transport Department has welcomed a Supreme Court of Appeal ruling that dismissed the road accident funds bid to dictate how its books are audited. The RAF wanted to use an international accounting standard, but the Auditor General has stood firm on using South Africa's general recognized accounting practice. The dispute has dragged on for years, with the fund receiving consistently poor audit outcomes. Mongezi Koko reports.
Through a statement, the Transport Department says valuable time and public money has been wasted and that the matter should have never been taken to court. It says the RAF board has ignored repeated advice from government and must now accept the ruling and comply, adding that the fund must work in line with the Accounting Standards Board. The department further urged the RAF to focus on fixing its financial management rather than fighting the system. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
The Electoral Reform Consultation Panel says there are growing calls for constituency-based voting in the country. The panel recently published all 348 submissions it received from a number of political and civil organizations to reform the country's electoral systems. In its discussion papers, the panel says one of the themes it observed is how voters want more direct participation in who they send to parliament and provincial legislatures. Panel spokesperson Matsimuki says they have received submissions calling for the establishment of a mechanism that will allow voters to recall poor performing public reps.
Some were saying because once people have been appointed to parliament, they cease reporting back to us and we would like to play a role. And the question is, can an electoral system actually remove a member of parliament? What type of recall mechanisms are there? Because we know currently with the system that we are using currently, people can be recalled through their parties.
And Israel says it has killed a commander of Palestinian militant group Hamas in a strike in Lebanon that's also killed his son and daughter. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam has condemned the strike as a flagrant attack on Lebanese sovereignty and a breach of the November 27 ceasefire with Israel. Hassan Farhat was a commander of Hamas's Western Arena in Lebanon. The Israeli army alleges that Farhat orchestrated multiple attacks on its soldiers and civilians during the hostilities that followed the outbreak of war in Gaza in October 2023. Lebanese leaders condemned the attack, but Israel says it was in response to recent unclaimed rocket fire that Hezbollah insists it had no hand in. Hostilities between Israel and Hezbollah spiraled into all-out conflict last September, and the group remains a target of Israeli airstrikes despite the November 27 ceasefire. Gold is trading at $3,103.13 an ounce. The rand is at 18.90 to the dollar, 24.69 to the pound, 20.91 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $69.57 a barrel.
In the traffic, Gutihu on most major routes. Just look out for that slow-moving traffic. Midrand still N1 North passing through Waterfall City, and then Ekurhuleni R24 westbound towards Gelulis. Please be patient.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with isolated showers. The temperatures will peak at highs between 18 and 21 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour: the High Court in Pretoria is delivering a ruling on an application by former Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula so that she can access the investigation diary of her corruption case today.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome. This is the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. It's a Friday. Happy Friday. And every Friday, we do our relationship feature at 11 o'clock.
Relationship issues?
Relationship talk
on 702.
So, on our relationship feature this morning, we are having a conversation about something that sometimes divides partners. Because their approaches are often different. We're talking about how to manage relations with your ex. There are various reasons why a person may want to maintain a relationship with their ex. And yes, some of you do it because you actually still have feelings for them and you are hoping that they'll come back to you one day and you guys can fix things. But some of you genuinely just feel like, I have shared a life with this person. I was married to them, we share kids together, or we were together for 5, 10 years, whatever, 2 years, and you feel like, you know, I've met their family, they've met mine, therefore you don't just cut off relations with someone that you have actually loved, but you've moved on and they've moved on and both of you respect it. there are different reasons people do it. And I wonder if it is possible to have a healthy relationship with an ex. I want you to share your own experiences with us. Are you a type of person who, and under what circumstances also do you decide, I want to maintain relations with this person? Whether you send them a happy birthday message whenever it's their birthday, or maybe if they do lose, God forbid, someone who is their loved one, you go to a funeral, even though you've not been with this person for so long. And how do you manage it, even especially when the person is in a relationship or you are in a relationship? How do you manage it? Please share your experience with us on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Remember, you can watch this conversation live on YouTube. You can go to the 702 YouTube account and you can watch while listening to us. Refilwe Hamedi is a relationship coach in studio with us, who's going to be guiding us through this conversation. How are you doing, Refilwe? Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Clement. It's such a pleasure being back here.
Should we or should we not maintain relations with our exes? Or does it depend on individuals?
It really depends on what the individual prefers and the circumstances surrounding the breakup. A lot of the people are able to keep the respect, throughout their conflict in their relationship and throughout the breakup. And, you find that, they are good for each other as friends because maybe that's how they started, as there was a deep friendship before the relationship started. And that's why they're able to maintain, healthy relations afterwards.
And how do we then negotiate that with our own partners? Because it's easy to have relations with your ex when they don't have anyone or you don't have anyone. But if they have someone and you now want to still talk to them, or you have someone they want to talk to you, how do you rationalize that? Should you sit down with your partner and say, listen, I still want to maintain relations with this person, or you must do it secretly?
It's a better idea to talk about it openly. Some people have been burnt, obviously, in the past because that relationship doesn't end up being what it was promised. It says, like, we are exes and we are not doing anything behind your back, and that happens to be a lie. So when they enter into a new relationship, they tend to be wary of anybody that was in your previous life. But around the conversation, I guess there could be even, an introduction. Maybe this person sees the two of you interacting and seeing that there's really nothing there. But I know that
introduction.
I mean, it's been known to happen, and we've seen that some couples actually, thrive by really maintaining their old relationships because of what the person means to them and how they can enrich their new relationship. I know people don't tend to look at it that way, but it is possible.
What are some of the reasons, in your experience, why people want to keep relations with their exes?
A good one is because the relationship is good for them. And I'm talking about the friendship part of the relationship. Perhaps this person motivates them often, or they are a safe space, or they allow them to be who they feel like they truly can be. There's also a reason of perhaps they share kids or maybe a business. There's been instances where the relationship works outside of it having been a previous romantic relationship. Yeah.
Okay. And I do get it, obviously, especially when people have had kids together.
Yeah.
Because, that relationship at some level has to exist, There are children that are involved, they want to be with the dad, they want to be with the mom. But there are cases then where we were not married, we've never had kids. There's no reason for us to really be together. But again, as you say, maybe some people shared an important friendship in that relationship, so they want to still keep that. So what would you then define as a healthy boundary with your ex, especially maybe whether the breakup was hard or not, actually, just a healthy boundary? How would you advise our listeners to keep or maintain that?
Well, the first most important thing is the reason why you are staying together. I do know that, sometimes there's a person hoping that something happens. So that is why it's important to, upon the breakup, really just process and see for yourself that, why do I want this person to be in my life? And if it's purely out of friendship, then the two of you will have to speak about boundaries to say, are we keeping the communication to text? Are we calling each other? Are we ever going to meet? And what does that mean for both of us? Because I do know that sometimes the intimacy was so deep that perhaps two people keep the relationship purely for that function, but the boundaries would need to be communicated, especially you don't want to start talking about them when you start moving on, because by nature the relationship has changed, so it needs new rules.
Can we send each other happy birthdays?
I mean, I'm not going to dictate to you, but a harmless happy birthday and, it's a new year. I don't think anything can happen. But if your current partner sees that as a violation of a boundary,
then
of course,
you have to have
there
a
would be a
conversation
problem.
there.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's where it becomes an issue as well, is your partner okay with it?
Yeah.
Because if you have a partner and you're busy wishing happy birthdays, but they don't know, and the reason they don't know, that they wouldn't like it, then that's already reason why either you shouldn't do it or you should start having a conversation with them. So there's also like silly things, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe your house, the password in your house, it's of your ex's, by your ex's name. I've seen that case, by the way, happen. What do you, like, and then your partner comes and says, no, you have to change this. Do you then respect that and say, okay, I know it makes you uncomfortable, let me change it? Or do you go, well, I've always had this password. Yes, it's of a name of an ex, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just for my own recollection.
Yeah, if you want your relationship to work out, obviously, with your new partner, there are a few concessions you're going to have to make. And this, I want to be honest, actually affects your friendship with your ex, because if you're going to be friends with me and every time you're in a relationship you ghost me, then that friendship over time will obviously, not be as healthy as people want it to be. But the biggest thing surrounding this is if you've got nothing to hide, you need to be transparent to your new partner and say, listen, me and this person are no longer. And if it makes you uncomfortable, it's something easy, like, change the password. But there are things that you can't change. For example, what if you guys still work together? What if there's something prominent still binding you? So it's possibly an area of development for this new partner that has to see, do I want this relationship to work? And what concessions can I make myself to accommodate this seeming friendship? But I think, be honest if you're getting texts, and be honest to the ex that, listen, my partner would not prefer us, talking about this. So let's cut it here.
Yeah, and if it works for you, go out on a drink with them, both of them.
It's possible. I know of people that have been, exes, and just to ease the new relationship, the other person wants to meet. Listen, I'd like to meet her or him, especially, and see how the friendship
you guys
is.
Still maintain a relationship.
Exactly, to see that there is no
There's nothing. Ooh, but what if you see chemistry there that is undeniable?
And that's also possible. The chemistry could be a remnant of something that's happened. It's not necessarily something that's going to happen, because they get along. There is history there.
I don't know. Like, you're having drinks there, then suddenly the eyes connect. And
there's inside jokes.
And there's an inside joke of, when we were in Paris, and you're like, okay. 011-883-0702. What's your relationship with your ex? Are you still talking to them? Do you still wish each other happy birthdays? Are you the type of person who will go to the funeral, or when they have a wedding, you go? I think that's pushing it a bit if there's a wedding. But hey, who knows? Maybe you guys were friends. Maybe you guys have always maintained a friendship even in that relationship, and that's one thing that stayed with you guys. Please share your experiences with us. The number to dial is 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Clement. Good morning. I can honestly, sincerely say that I have got the best relationship with my ex-husband, and it's purely because of his pure heart. I don't have any negative in that said. I think we make better friends than when we were married. So, but other than that, I think I would change nothing for anything.
Hi, Clement. It always surprises me that when people get divorced or now they suddenly become friends. And I'm always wondering that why didn't they become friends whilst they were married? Why is it now when there's separation, now they become best of friends? Human beings are very strange, hey? This is Busi from Rhodepost.
Hey, morning, Clems. Karina, I'm not friends, but we still have each other's phone numbers, and then we have each other's statuses on WhatsApp, and we laugh, whatever. We have each other's phone numbers and that, but we had a brief relationship. I think it lasted for like a month or two. Wow. Yeah. So she has a partner. I'm single, but we're still okay. And 95% of my exes that I've dated, we are civil. Like when we meet in public, we chat sometimes, like we happy to see each other and there's no bad blood. But yeah, I think that's the sort of person that I am towards them. I'm a chilled person. So if the relationship was not toxic and all that, the relationship afterwards, when you are in relationships separately, it becomes cool. So yeah, just be civil and be happy with each other. Then the man cook some tablet.
Hey Clement, for the longest time I used to keep in touch with my exes, because I believe that when you're with somebody, give it your all. Give it your all. You're there for the right reasons. And should we part, or when we do part, we are not enemies, because we were once intimate. We once shared a special thing. We once had a bond and so forth, something special. So there's no need to act like we're enemies and so forth and so on. So I used to keep things as friendly as possible. So birthdays, if I can visit you, I will.
Visit?
Funerals, stuff like that, I'll do that. But that was until I met my current partner, who has a problem with me being in contact with my exes. So that had to stop, because I also have to respect her wishes.
Why are you visiting your ex birthday? And are you taking your partner with you when you go visit your ex? I must say, I take that approach too. My approach is always, if I have truly loved you, if my heart was yours, I find it difficult to just cut you off. I just feel like that is so unnatural to me. If I have been in a relationship with you that was full of love, you are a part of my life. And that doesn't mean I must talk to you every day or wish you a happy birthday every year. But I care about you. I'm always going to be able to take your call. And I believe you'll always be able to take mine. So I agree with that listener and that approach. I'm not so sure about like when it's a birthday you visit, especially when you have a partner, unless you're, of course, honest to your partner and say, I'm going to visit this person. How do you deal with that, though, Refule, if you have because this listener says, my partner wants nothing to do with that. Can you at least rationalize it or just respect their wishes? Or can you at least find a common ground here of how about we work through it this way?
Yeah, if they are honest, they'll give you their reasons why they don't think that's a good idea. And the biggest part is to protect something they feel like is sacred. Your attention now belongs to them, and they want to obviously lock that in. And there's something about exes, they know almost everything about your partner. So, sharing that is not necessarily ideal. And I want to also talk to the thing that, when you are dating and then after you become friends, is that expectations lessen when you no longer in the relationship. So you could probably take their call, you could have a conversation, but you don't rely on them to, live a life with you and give you their all, give you their attention, and the things that they've failed on, you've now listened and you said, okay, I can just talk to them. They really are not a toxic person, and we maintain respect at that point of breakup, because the other thing that makes the friction is that the big blowout at the end, or if somebody perhaps was not faithful and it affected the other one deeply, as in mental health, heartbreak, all of those things. Those are some of the things that if they're not present and you guys were amicable to say, this thing's not working, the friendship can actually evolve into something. But the partner that doesn't want you to stay, in contact deserves a listening to. Yeah. And if it's something that you guys can work through over time while you show them that, but I'm here with you with my entire presence, it could possibly evolve with time. But they do need a listen to, and for you to consider that.
And as you said earlier on, you could invite that ex so that your partner can see you guys interact to be convinced that there's nothing going on here. and hopefully, while your partner is cooking, the ex doesn't go, he doesn't like salt, or because that would also be a problem.
And we know, especially us ladies tend to be salty in
Yeah.
that way because we tend to want to one up the new person.
He doesn't like salty food or spice. Yeah, sure, but shut up. I'll figure that out myself. Ralph, you're calling from Boxburg. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
Good, Ralph. Go ahead.
Yes, so I was saying I allowed my ex to be friends with my wife to be friends with her ex, and it's because during the time when me and her were apart, she said he was very supportive and he was very helpful with her, and so I didn't mind it. But it became a problem when it was conversations every evening, and sometimes he'd be phoning a little bit late. And then I had to tell her that, no, look, there's some boundaries that we need to have here. If he's calling you to say happy birthday or to see how your week was, I can tolerate that. But if it's you guys talking every evening and, and you're constantly chatting, that becomes a problem. And we argued about it quite a bit. And eventually I told her that, look, think of it this way. If I have an ex that wants to speak to me all the time, ask yourself how you're going to feel about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you have an ex that is close to you and you still want to keep that relationship, the first thing you have to do is the first person in your life is the person that you are with. The person that you say you love, the person you're married to.
Definitely.
You have to choose them first, in other words. And when you choose them first, if they're going to allow you to have this friendship or to maintain this friendship, that managing those boundaries is your job, not theirs. And you have to make sure that if you want to keep this relationship, you have to make sure that this person is happy. Your husband is happy. Another thing would be, you can't be friends with another man if that man can't be friends with your man. You see, regardless of whether he's an ex. Yeah, if I have a female friend that I know will not get along with my wife, I cut that person out, or I limit that contact because I know it's going to rock the boat.
Yeah, Ralph, just a quick question. You said that you allowed your wife to be friends with her ex because she said that when you guys were apart, he was supportive. By apart, what do you mean? Was there a time when you guys were not together?
Yes. Yes. We were together and then we broke up.
And the ex was there to support her. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so I didn't want to get into it too much.
Yeah, okay.
And I said, look, if he was supportive, fine, I understand. On my side, I also have friends of mine that were supportive. And what I quickly learned was that when any one of my exes phoned, she would throw her toys.
You see, now it has to be, it can't be one way, eh?
It can't be.
It can be one
That's
way.
when I said to her that, look, it's up to you. Think about it. The way that you want my exes to be in contact with me is use the same brush. And that way we will be happy.
Okay, Ralph, thank you so much for sharing that. Jeez, so much Ralph is raising. I absolutely agree with the fact that, if you are in a heterosexual relationship, you're friends with, as a man, with a lady, a woman who wouldn't be friends with your wife, you must question that in some way because and by friends doesn't mean they have to be besties, but at least tolerate each other to be in one place. But yeah, I guess I get where Ralph is coming from. One thing I don't understand though is if I'm with you, Refilo, and we somehow go through issues, I wouldn't want you to go to your ex, or even if the ex is supportive as a friend, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. That's not a moment that requires that. That's a moment that, when we come together, let's keep it moving. But in a moment where we are apart, go to your besties. I don't want an ex to be supportive there.
Sometimes there are no besties, and sometimes
that's
it's
the only one.
it's situational. Perhaps they were there, or they witnessed something, or they saw something, something that prevents them. They're just being human. They're helping you out through a situation. They can notice, this person was usually being dropped off here by their husband, but all of a sudden they're taking taxis. Is there something I can help? But I want to talk to that point of when the person kept on phoning, and then the caller had a sort of like took issue with that. I do agree that your current partner needs to be your main focus, and boundaries need to be almost set. But one thing you should ask yourself is, are you giving the current relationship enough attention for them not to feel threatened? And for partners, the newer partners, my question would be, what is it about the friendship? Maybe if my partner can talk to me about how does this person make them feel, and what void is there that perhaps I can rise to, or sort of like with time get them to be comfortable enough, not necessarily for them not to need the other person, but for me to take something that didn't work out and use it to our favor to enrich our relationship. But they will click differently. That's because that other person is different from you, but that's a cause for you to grow your intimacy as a couple, by asking each other the right questions about what is it about this friendship that really gets you going, that you can't let go of it, that you have to speak to this person every day. Let's explore that.
I like that. I like that that gives an opportunity for you as a couple to look at what's missing. Maybe I can rise to the occasion and fill that void that you find gets filled by an ex. When we have a conversation about what is it really that what do you guys talk about? What is it? And I can find a way to really come through on that front. All right, it's 11:31 now. We're going to get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. When we come back, we're going to continue with your calls and your WhatsApps. How do you manage your relations with your ex? Is your partner the one who says, I want you nowhere near your ex? Are you a type that is still friends, or you still civil with your ex? How are you managing that in a way that respects your own partner if you are partnered, or your ex's partner? Give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note. Maki, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The Transport Department has welcomed a Supreme Court of Appeal ruling dismissing the Road Accident Fund's bid to dictate how its books are audited. The RAF wanted to use an international accounting standard, but the Auditor General has stood firm on using South Africa's generally recognized accounting practice, also known as GRAP. The dispute has dragged on for years, with the fund receiving consistently poor audit outcomes. Gauteng MEC for Economic Development, Lebogang Maile, says the province's latest investment drive will set into motion plans to drive economic growth. Gauteng set itself an investment target of 800 billion rands over the next 5 years, with pledges to the tune of 300 billion rand already made at the inaugural investment conference. Maile led a team of officials yesterday where the public sector met in a room with the private sector in a bid to catalyze foreign and regional direct investment into Africa's economic powerhouse. And as downpours continue to shower various parts of Gauteng, motorists are advised to exercise caution on the slippery roads due to wet weather conditions. Traffic police in the province say if heavy rains persist, pointsmen may not be found on duty due to extremely poor visibility. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Thank you so much from Makimulape there, just giving traffic advisory regarding the pointsmen. They are not available, as well as the pointswomen at intersections where roads are still slippery and wet. This is for safety reasons. The responsibility then falls on you to treat these as 4 stops. Keep a safe following distance and do not speed. Mild pressure, Midrand and improvement passing through Waterfall City and Waterfall Estate. This is heading north. We saw some half-an-hour delays half an hour ago. Now just under 10-minute long delays. Similar pressure in Sandton, M1 North. This is in fact heading from Colette Drive past Grayson Drive until you get to Marlborough Drive off-ramp. R24 between the Sulu Highway. Still seeing some queuing traffic heading towards the Gilulis interchange. And then you need to look out for some pressure in the Pretoria CBD, Johannes Ramukwase Street, Boom Street, as well as Blue Street. This is all in the Marabastad region. Please be patient. Next traffic update in 30 minutes or as it happens.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9. Let's take Nandi Nyembe, who's our entry point into this story. There's such a big disconnect between public perception and what actors really deal with. Jack Devnarain, what pressure would you like the public to bring to bear on this?
People should join the cause and support Saga's efforts in bringing formality into the sector and the recognition of our rights as workers.
Have you had any pushback because you are now the voice of all of this?
I last worked in September last year.
Doesn't that tell the whole story?
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9 on 702.
Honey, what are you doing?
I'm stretching for tonight.
I thought you're not dancing at bachelorette parties anymore.
Baby, we need the money to put Johnny through matric mos.
And what's the police uniform for?
The clients feel safer when I wear it.
No, man, just sell your bucky to We Buy Cars. They give the best prices and they pay you within minutes.
Okay, but can I just go and dance one more time, please? You know how much I love it.
No, the buyer's already on his way here.
Wow, okay.
Strapped for cash? Just sell your vehicle to We Buy Cars. The easiest way to sell your car by far.
Here at Betway, we're finding every way possible to make sure you can win your next sports bet. With our new Bet Saver feature, you could get your stake back or more on bets with multiple losses. Stand to win, even when your bet misses. Bet Saver, exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. South African Responsible Gambling Program toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Winners know when to stop.
My family's struggling with snotty noses and phlegmy coughs.
Oh no! Have you tried ACC?
ACC 600 is a convenient one-a-day effervescent tablet from 14 years of age, or now also in a no-water-needed fruity-flavored sherbet-like granules that dissolve in your mouth. Ideal for the on-the-go adult. Ask for ACC 600 effervescent or oral powder at your nearest pharmacy to get rid of the snotties and flemmings. And trust, if it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
702 and Absa Home Loans are bringing to light the property ownership matters you want to know about. Here's what we discussed.
A bank's perspective, it's important for us to play a role in terms of climate risk, and it's important for us to also make sure that we enable our customers, both from a residential and commercial perspective, to have the funding to reduce their carbon footprint. We believe that we must form partnerships with the industry in order to make sure that we provide the necessary solutions for our customers. Those partnerships are important, the finance side of it, and also making sure that from an installation and credibility perspective, we protect our customers from a safety perspective as well.
The Masterclass with Relebohile Maboja, brought to you by Absa Home Loans on 702. T's and C's apply. Absa is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. NCR CP7.
Relationship issues?
Relationship Talk
on 702.
23 minutes before 12 o'clock on our relationship feature this morning, we're talking about managing relations with our exes. How do you manage a relationship with your ex? Maybe you were married, maybe you guys have kids together. Is it more difficult then? Is it much easier then? Do you only relate in as far as the kids are concerned, or do you find time for each other as friends or as the father, the mother, or as the parents of this child? So we want to know how you're managing those relations with your ex. I want to go to some calls now. Let's start with Isaac, who's calling us from Orange Farm. Isaac, good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
Good, Isaac. How's it going?
Easy and difficult same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Clement, yes, I've got my ex, ne? We divorced long ago, and then we got 4 children. Now, our relationship is difficult to manage. I even tell my ex that, this thing of you always, when you come to me and then you just come to say me, we've been grown up, and then one day you'll have a heart attack and then you'll be gone because you don't know how to talk to me. you just come and swear at me. And then even the children now, they did realize that father and mother, they are not together. Now they use that opportunity. When she feels that the mother, that something that is not doing, that it's in his favor or her favor, she ran to me. When I'm disciplining them, and then they run to the mother.
To their mother.
Yes, because they can see these two people are not together.
How long have you guys been apart, Isaac?
It's almost 10 years.
10 years. And are you partnered now? Are you with someone now? Is she married or with someone else now?
Yeah, I'm with someone, and then she did go and have 3 children with somebody else.
Okay.
And then I'm with someone. Now, it seems like it's things that she demand. She want to make this other one to feel that I'm the one there. And then I think this other partner passed away. Now she came back to Joburg. She was in Northwest. She came back to Joburg. Now she started to be a problem again.
Sorry, which partner passed away?
Her husband.
Oh, her husband passed away. Now she's Isaac. And now it's going to end up ruining now Isaac's relationship, because Isaac says she always wants to show this woman that I was there before. So how does Isaac deal with something like that?
It's really difficult, and my heart goes out to them, especially because they've got 4 children who must learn how to relate, when you break up with somebody from them. And these are some of the things that they will witness that will affect them for life. But the biggest thing is that sometimes we see that with couples when the one just can't forgive the other for ending the relationship because they feel like, they were robbed of a chance of, having a successful relationship, marriage or whatever. And they place the blame solely on that person. And that can last for a lifetime if, they really have not resolved the point that led them to really just be apart. But the children grow, and the children will need some talking to in terms of managing their relationship. But if they are still obviously taking advantage, it's because the situation is that dire. So a big part of this, I don't know in the 10 years if he's attempted getting other family members involved, because sometimes you don't have to speak directly if there could be a mediator, especially about things that have to do with the children.
Tembi, you are calling from Benoni. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. Hi, Rufile.
Sure.
Hi, Tembi.
So, hi. So, look, I have a good relationship with the father of my child. He's my ex. I'm married now. He is in a committed relationship. We have such a healthy co-parenting relationship to a point where if my daughter's grounded in my house, when she goes to her father's house over the weekend, she's still grounded.
The grounding remains.
It remains. We communicate so well with each other. My husband and the father of my child also just have a good relationship with each other. We understand that whatever happened between me and the father of my child happened. Yes, I was hurt, but I had to put my child's well-being first, and it's been amazing. I cannot complain. I feel like I just need to send a shout out to the father of my child, because I don't complain for anything. I'd be lying about the poor guy.
That's great.
I cannot complain for anything. So I feel like also it's important for us as parents to remember that there is a child in between everything that happened between me and you. There is a person that we brought. Although I am hurt, I had to heal from whatever happened in our relationship, and also go for therapy. But remember that I'm raising a girl child, so I don't want to bleed onto her, So yes, I just want to say that.
I want to clap for you because one, I think it's important for us to also say when things are going well, because always we talk to fathers who are not present. Women are always complaining. There are women out there who are blessed to co-parent in a healthy way, and I think we should be able to really raise that. But thank you. I clap for you as well, because despite of your hurt, you were able to put that behind you and say, this is not about me, this is about our child. And I think
100%.
a lot of the parents are struggling with that. They're always thinking, yeah, but this man betrayed me. Yeah, but there's a child here. At some point, you need to heal. You don't have to forgive him if you don't want, but at the very least, create a healthy environment that allows this child to grow up with a mom and dad who've got their best interests at heart. How is your husband taking it, your relationship with the father of your child? Is he okay with it?
He's very much okay. We are very transparent. We communicate. Even when we're throwing parties, everybody decides what they're doing, what's their task. All four of us. We come together and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. So it's just amazing. It's healthy. He's okay with it. He knows that if we're going shopping for the child, he knows that we're there for shopping, nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, we don't even allow any thought. Because I don't see him as my partner anymore. I just see him as the father of my child, and that's it.
Yeah. Tembi, amazing. Thank you so much. Wonderful contribution there from Tembi in Benoni. Salome in Attridgeville. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement and Priscilla. How are you?
Good. Go ahead.
We're good, thank you. I have separated from my husband, and it's now been 2 years. And that was one of the greatest decisions that I've ever done. We've been together for 30 years, so I grew up with him. So it is very difficult to detangle everything in our lives and live separately. So I went back to my mom's house, and my mom had passed on. So there's a lot of things that needed to be done here. You know, when I need a wardrobe to be fixed, I call him, he comes every day now, even when he types during work, and then he sleep on the sofa and then wake up and say, okay, sharp, see you. You know, so we have such a wonderful relationship. And he's always around. I'm a sickly person. When I'm admitted to hospital, he comes with the kids. And when I discharged, I call him, he will come and pick me up. He does that. So I think even people, my neighbors, they don't understand what is happening because he can come, I leave my car, and then we go together in his car, or we exchange cars like that. So I'm definitely sure no one knows that there is a separation.
Is he with someone else, Salome?
No, I don't. I'm not seeing anyone else.
Yeah. Okay.
I know. I'm also not sure that is he still busy with the lady that actually made me decide, no, this is not on. I'm done with the cheating.
Okay.
But he's always available, and I can go to his house at any time. And I don't think that he is bringing her to our house.
Yes.
He goes to her, so we are free to do anything.
Yeah. And how do you guys have kids? How many?
We've got 3 kids. We've got 2 girls, and the last one is a boy. So he's always there. He goes to the parents' meetings. If I can't, he goes, collects the report, and talk together about that. So we're always talking, and the kids as well. They have a wonderful relationship with him.
Oh, that's amazing.
Especially my firstborn. Yeah, he comes, takes them to town. If he wants to do anything, he's also teaching my son on how to fix things, welding and all of that stuff. He does it when he comes to work at my place, so the relationship is stable, and I like it to stand like that.
Yeah, Salome, that's amazing. I'm hearing that, Refil, and I'm like, oh, so cute. They've been separated for about 2 years. And I really hope that it stays like that for many, even when they meet people, should they meet people separately, I hope they can still remember. Because when you spend 30 years with someone, guys,
a lot of interdependence. And
a lot of interdependence.
Yeah. And I think, people that continue, despite the relationship have it needs to be commended, because it's very difficult. When you've been hurt, betrayed, and you feel like, I saw my forever with this person, and then it's no longer there. So for them to get over that and say, for the sake of the children or for the sake of peace, I want the children to have a good relationship with their father or their mother. I think that's to be commended, because it is a lot of emotional work that surrounds that.
Yeah, let's go to WhatsApps now.
Morning, Clement. Regarding this thing, being friends with your ex, aye, Clement. Clearly, people don't have enough problems out there. People just don't like peace. X, Clement. I mean, bye-bye. Unless you've got children, then then we can have a conversation around that. But if you have a dog or a cat, no, somebody takes the dog, you can go get another dog, get another cat, it's fine. But bringing your ex into your current relationship, you're asking for trouble, Clement. I hear that thing. That will never work. Thank you, Bashe from Joburg.
Good morning, Clement. This is Sami. Clement, there is no self-respecting men or women who will agree to their current partner having a relationship, continuing to having a relationship with their ex. No way. Unless if that relationship is legally binding. Like, for example, if they share a business together or they share a child together. That way, yes, it's justifiable. But to just say in jail, like, no, we are still friends, whatever, he's my safe space. If he's your safe space, then why did you break up with him? So no way, this is just madness.
He's my safe space. Here's another one.
Hi, Clement. My cousin used to say he prefers that when the relationship doesn't work and we are exes and we must just be enemies so that people don't get to struggle thereafter with you trying to maintain this relationship with your ex and so I get it. It's best that people should just be enemies so that there can be peace in your next relationship.
Sure.
Anonza.
Okay, Anonza. Here's a tough one, Rafule. I actually heard from someone the other day who has been talking to their ex, right? They haven't been together for just over a year. And I asked, did you tell this ex that you are now in a relationship? And this person says, no, I'm scared that the ex may get jealous and that's going to affect our relationship, right? Their friendship. So what do you do in a case like that where you've enjoyed this friendship with an ex because maybe you guys were still soothing each other since you separated, you understand both of you have been in pain, you're still trying to soothe each other, but now you've met someone, but you're scared to tell this one that, hey, I've moved on because maybe that one may take it the wrong way. How do you break the news?
There's no wrong way. There's only that way. He or she has moved on, but you can't hide that. At some point, they'll need to be transparent with their new partner as well as the ex, because what happens when they phone at night?
Yes.
And, because it's going to cause a rift now in the relationship. And I get it, because it's people we used to care about, and we know that on some level they still harbor feelings for us. That is why the processing of emotions needs to take place separately. It sounds to me that she may also still be in her processing of not wanting to hurt him, because sometimes that's why the two people remain friends, because there's one that's secretly hoping that they would come together, and there's one that's feeling guilty that they did something to lead, and then they make concessions or becomes the helpful ex and then prevents the other ex from moving on. But all of these are feelings that need to be fleshed out, so you can examine for yourself, why am I scared of hurting him? Because I'm no longer in a relationship with him. Yeah.
Good day, Clement and listeners. On my side, for me, an ex is an ex for a reason. So for me, keeping contact with your ex, it seems like you want a piece of what you had previously in your relationship. And you lose focus when you're keeping contact with your ex. How are you going to grow your current relationship while you're busy contacting your ex and chit-chatting? So for me, it's a no. I'm married. I'm no longer in contact with my exes. It's been 18 years now. And me and my husband are happy. And we like this. We love what we have. So for us, it's okay. Thank you. It's Dumi from Pretoria.
Hi, this is an interesting topic. I'm in a situation where I'm in a relationship with someone with kids, and it's boy kids, and I've got girls too, and it's both sides. And it's such an interesting phenomenon. I think being hands-on, being a hands-on parent, and it has shown me something else. My previous partner, ex-wife, we did not have initially it was not a proper cooperating relationship, but over time it has grown to the extent that I know what the child is doing, and it's something that I think we need. And like I always tell people that, you know what, when you look at your child, half of that child is you, so you must always consider the child.
Yeah, absolutely. Tabogo, you're in 4 ways. Good morning.
Morning, Clement. How are you?
Sure, man. Go ahead.
Yes. So mine, it's rather a sad one, in a sense that I have a healthy one with the one this person I've been separated to.
Mm-hmm.
I had to seek a restraining order because when she's with.
Oh, Debza, the line is not so good. Let's try and reestablish that, and hopefully, if I still have time, I can come back to it. Rafilo, just the last words, advice to our listeners who maybe some are still caught up in the middle. Like, I don't know, should I not do it? Just remind them what are the circumstances under which it works, and when does it not work? What do you do?
Yeah. I mean, mutual respect. I mean, we cannot say enough about that, and prioritizing your current partner. I think at any point, if they feel that somebody else takes preference over them, it will affect your relationship negatively. And the biggest takeaway is take time to process in that initial breakup, because when you linger and harbor resentment, or you don't say, or you don't deal with it, it has potential to obviously make your new relationships for you to repeat the same mistakes at all. If you are going to have a healthy relationship, make sure that you've dealt with the feelings around the breakup, especially, so that you know that even if we are friends or they talk to me, I know that I don't have feelings for this person anymore.
Yeah. Refilo Khamedi is a relationship coach. Thank you so much for guiding us through this chat.
Thank you for having me.
4 minutes before 12.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
It appears that we have a zamazama in the pharmaceutical space.
This is not a new thing. And what we found is that the department has been reactive in cracking down on these backdoor pharmaceuticals.
From Section 27's point of view, what should the solutions be?
The biggest clients of this black market are migrants, and they tend to face a bigger hurdle with accessing healthcare services. And we have to advocate for those clients.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Mzansi, you don't want to miss out on Powerball, which is estimated at a massive 100 million rand jackpot this Friday. Don't delay. Play Powerball for an estimated 100 million rand jackpot today, and you could be celebrating millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120*7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Dear Journal, trying to be an adult, day 3215. Checked my bank statements. Payday me and rest of the month me have drastically different budgets. Urgently need to discuss this with Payday me, but I can't seem to get hold of her. She's always out on the jaw.
Recently removed from the family payroll? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024.
For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
702 was in conversation with Altron, celebrating 60 years of solving real-world problems and discussing their plans to rebuild and re-energize Johannesburg through partnership and collaboration.
So our business is really what we call a platform and an IT services business. And what we do for our customers essentially is we use technology either on our platforms or in a bespoke way, working with our customers to really help to operate their digital infrastructure, to optimize their digital infrastructure, and really to transform their digital infrastructure. And within this business, we've got a number of businesses. Netstar, probably one that you might be familiar with, which is really actually celebrated its 30 years.
Visit altron.com for more info. Altron, a technology industry leader since 1965.
Coming up next, the Midday Report with Mpendulo. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank
What's
you, Clem.
popping vandag?
There's a briefing underway at the moment. Ministers Parks Tau and Ronald Lamola responding to Trump's tariffs. They've been speaking about AGOA and effectively the end of AGOA. So we'll bring you the latest on that. I will speak to the NDPP Shamila Batoy about the Omatoso case. A huge amount of criticism of the NPA for the handling
The
of
NDPP
that
in the
case.
Eastern Cape on the SABC last night told me they did a great job.
Yeah, I saw. So I'll be asking her about that. The public protector clearing Ramaphosa on the use of state resources for an ANC rally. And it's Friday.
Sports.
And good things
Do you have
too.
Formula One this weekend?
Yeah.
I think we do.
Yeah, they're in Japan.
All right. That's what's coming up on the Midday Report with Mpendulo. Thank you for listening to the Friday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. Have a beautiful weekend, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Maki Mulapo. We begin with news just in. The Pretoria High Court has denied former Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula access to the investigation diary in the corruption case against her. Mapisa-Nqakula made an application for the state to disclose Section C of the police docket against her, which is the pocketbook investigation diary. She's charged with 12 counts of corruption and 1 of money laundering. It's alleged she solicited and received bribes amounting to 4.5 million rand from a defense contractor during her tenure as defense minister. She believes the diary has information that could assist with her defense. However, Judge Mukine Masopa says the motivation for the disclosure application was speculative.
The court must guard against the risks that may lead to impeding the applicant's case and the aids of proper administration of justice. The applicant failed to show the risk of such impediment in my considered view and failed to establish a prima facie facts which indicates the relevance of the disclosure of the C section of the police docket.
Staying in the courts in the Western Cape, the case against 3 men linked to the kidnapping and extortion of gay men in Cape Town has once again been postponed by the Cape Town Magistrates Court to June 6th. The trio is accused of luring gay men under false pretenses on the dating app Grindr. The trio was arrested in June last year after being linked to the kidnapping of a 50-year-old man in Woodstock. Ntutuzelo Nene has more.
Mlungisi Mbutu, Bongani Zulu and Zwela Kengwenya made a brief appearance at the Cape Town Magistrates Court via video link from prison. The trio from Soweto in Gauteng is suspected of being involved in a string of robberies involving gay men on dating app Grindr. It's alleged that they would entice unsuspecting victims, kidnap them, then extort money from them or their families. The incidents allegedly took place in Woodstock, Cape Town CBD, Camps Bay, Durbanville and Brackenfell. The state intends adding at least 20 new cases of money laundering on top of kidnapping and extortion charges they face. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News at the Cape Town Magistrates Court.
The public protector has cleared former police minister Bheki Cele of wrongdoing on his Paris trip to the Rugby World Cup. Cele was accused of breaching the executive ethics code when he used public funds to make the trip with his executive assistant. Khotso Mariri has more.
The DA laid the complaint against Bheki Cele after the trip in 2023, arguing that it was unrelated to his official duties as police minister. They also claimed Cele exposed himself to a potential conflict of interest when he accepted sponsorship from SuperSport. But Public Protector Koleka Galega found in Cele's favour.
The allegation that Mr. Cele acted in a manner that is inconsistent with his office when he used public funds to attend the 2023 Rugby World Cup in Paris is unsubstantiated.
Galega's report says ministers and their deputies are permitted to be accompanied by staff when they travel abroad. Khotso Mariri, Eyewitness News.
The Transport Department has welcomed a Supreme Court of Appeal ruling dismissing the Road Accident Fund's bid to dictate how its books are audited. The RAF wanted to use an international accounting standard, but the Auditor General has stood firm on using South Africa's generally recognized accounting practice, also known as GRAP. The dispute has dragged on for years, with the fund receiving consistently poor audit outcomes. Mungezi Gogo has more.
Through a statement, the Transport Department says valuable time and public money has been wasted and that the matter should have never been taken to court. It says the RAF board has ignored repeated advice from government and must now accept the ruling and comply.